fecal matter. Oh my god.
Is it your brother? Is it your brother?
That sounds disgusting.
Is it your brother?
No, I doubt it. Not with that kind of name. All right, here we go.
Legendary. Oh, okay, cool.
We're getting started. Hello, and welcome to episode 35 of the Player 3 podcast. Welcome back. It's been a while.
It has been
a while.
I feel like it's been forever.
Oh, gosh.
I think the last episode we had go out on iTunes.
He's showing me off his arsenal.
The last episode we had go out on iTunes, I think, was June 1st, because the June 8th episode was a nightmare to edit, and I ran out of time. So it's been a while since we've been here. We were at camp, and then some of us were on vacation, but now we're back almost in full force. Diz has passed away again in a fiery side dish truck accident.
A fiery side dish accident.
But alongside me, we have the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
Hello.
And then over here we have, he can fix you a nice, delicious glass Pepsi and steal your daughter's heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Martin. And over here next to me we have Benjamin D. Hankins. D stands for Dat Tan that he got on vacation. Look at you, man.
I know, I'm all nice
and
and
the
supple.
new do? You got the new do?
Meow, meow, meow.
And then we have Gary, off-screen Gary, making coffee over there.
Yep.
But we don't.
I missed the opportunity.
It's all right, man. I'm your host, Luke Croft, and today, since it's been so long since we've been on air, we have watched E3, but we have not had a chance to react to it. And I know that this is old news, and that's the worst kind of news to have. But we haven't all talked about it together as a group of friends. And the whole reason we started this jank is so that we could have our video game conversations and invite other people into them. And so we're going to do that today. So this isn't going to be a normal episode. No releases of the week. We may do a random question at the end. But this is all just going to be about E3. We didn't get to watch it live. We kept up with internet reactions to it, and we read articles while we were out of town on it. But we finally gotten back. We've all watched at least part of it, and some of us have watched all of parts of it. None of us have watched the entirety of all of it. I had like 20 minutes left in Ubisoft, and
it's like 16 hours of footage or something.
Not quite.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like 10.
10. I'll give you 10.
Okay. Cool.
So, anyway,
thank you.
Are we going to wait till the end to talk about who won the milkshakes?
yes,
Okay.
yes, we will reveal at the end the winner of our.
I don't even know
milkshakes.
who won the milkshakes. And I'm
We
on this
didn't.
podcast.
We didn't know until about 20 minutes ago. So, all right. How you guys doing? What have you been playing? Let's start with that. It's been so long. What have you guys been playing?
I haven't played anything since the last podcast, because
That is
we
sad.
had camp and then I moved.
That's right.
Oh.
Into a sweet house.
It's pretty
I
sweet.
took pictures of your master bathroom. Is that weird?
It's only weird if I
Rub-a-dub-dub,
wasn't in
Larry's
it.
in the tub.
You have a really nice master bathroom?
Well, I got
Yeah.
nude in the tub.
I'm
there.
a
good.
bad friend, you guys. I went to the beach instead of helping.
That's kind of your MO.
MO.
Because when I moved, you were at the beach.
Hey, the first time you moved, I helped a lot.
I don't believe
That
you were
is
at
true.
the beach. I didn't see a single
He-
picture of you at the beach.
He got his dad's handicap van
Yeah.
and
Loaded
helped
all
me
your
move my
junk up in
giant
there.
TV.
Yeah.
So he was a nice person. The fecal matter. Zephyr, can you explain to fecal matter what's happening? We're from Virginia, and we'll come back to the chat every now and then. And
Why is Meebot not blocking?
seriously?
Come on, Meebot. Get it together.
So you haven't been playing anything? You haven't been playing.
I've been playing a ton of DS.
What have you been playing on the DS?
Link to the Past. Been playing some Mario 3D Land, some Pokemon X. A little dibble dabbles and all over the place. You know, it's a lot of fun. Yoshi's Island. I got that too.
dibble dabbles and the whatnots.
I'm really loving Link to the Past. It's awesome. It's great.
I did play one thing between the last podcast and now.
Or Link to Between Worlds is actually what it is.
I played Ben's copy of Super Mario Brothers while he used the bathroom.
You use the bathroom.
While you used the bathroom.
You beat more levels than me, than I've had it for years. And I haven't gotten past the first island.
I'm playing The Witcher.
How many ladies have you consummated
A
with?
lot. I made a classic mistake, and I got with both Triss and Yen, which actually I don't regret anything about it. But but I feel like it's gonna affect the story. right there at the end.
Can't you?
I'm
Do you have to pick?
I'm probably gonna be alone forever. See, I don't know. That's the thing. I haven't played it through all the way through, but I feel like it's gonna backfire on me.
Probably.
And, I didn't know what I was doing though. I thought I could. I thought I could be with both of them.
You're gonna be an awful married person.
Dangerous world.
I thought that I could be with both of them and then choose one later, but I don't think it's gonna work out that way. I'm getting hints. They're setting me up. But I'm almost done with the story mode of that. I've been playing a lot.
They're setting me up.
Yeah, they're setting me up. Probably
Having relations with him.
Probably with another woman.
Setting me up.
Baby, I didn't know. I didn't know I wasn't allowed to see other naked
See,
people.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that these two. I didn't know that these two girls were mortal enemies. They're not enemies, but apparently in the previous games, you got with one of them while you were under memory loss, and you were in love with the other one.
Triss.
And so with Triss.
Yeah.
And so like when I sent Yen back to Kaer Morhen, she ends up throwing my bed out of the castle, like over a wall, because you shared that bed with this other person. And so I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't have gotten with her then, huh? But I did, and in a lighthouse. And it was this great cutscene where and this is no spoilers at all, but it's like you're doing the act in the lighthouse, and then these mages that you sent out of Novigrad are out on the sea in a boat, and they're like the lights are flickering, and they're like, oh, it must be Morse code. What are they trying to tell us? But they're not trying to tell you anything. You're just doing the deed in a lighthouse. But it's great. I love that game. I've been playing a lot of Destiny without you guys. I've been through the Prison of Elders. I don't know how many times. On 32 and 34. I've been doing raids. I did a hard mode raid. Got a lot of loot.
By yourself?
Got a lot of no, not by myself.
My goal this week is
Not
to
by
get, my goal this week is to get trials ready. I'm almost to a 33 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I just need some etheric light. That's really all I need.
I would love to. I'd love to do a raid this week. And get some raid loot.
Well, the raid loot's not going to help you out any unless you got Etheric Light.
I know. I got Etheric Light.
Okay.
I think I've got like 3.
How do you have 3?
Because I bought it from the guy.
You can only buy 2.
Yeah, but you get them too, don't you? Well, maybe I only have 2 then. I feel like I've gotten them outside of the Iron
He's like,
Banner
I traded Destiny in January.
I feel like I got them outside of the Iron Banner guy. Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
I don't think.
Do you get them from? Can't you get them from Prison of Elders?
Was Iron Banner back this week?
No, it's not.
What the heck?
You get it from the 34 and the 35. So
Okay.
you have not.
No, I haven't gotten it there either. I don't know.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
I have. I actually owe Etheric Light.
I'm gonna see if I actually have any. I may not even have any.
That's what that happens.
Ben, I've missed you so much, dude. Gosh. I played a lot of Minecraft on Vita.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I need to get a Vita.
I played a lot of FIFA 13 on Vita as well, and since I was out of town, I played Destiny when I was at my brother-in-law's house. I pulled my console up and my account up and played some Prison of Elders. Got I got a new helmet. That was the thing I was lacking. It was a good helmet, and so I got a good helmet, and now it's all just about upgrading that stuff. So, all right. Well, let's get down to the rigmarole here, and let's talk about E3.
E3.
It is a gaming conference that happens once a year.
In the great city of Los Angeles. So, the way that we're going to do this is we're just going to start with, I'm just going to give a company, and then we're just going to talk about stuff that jumped out to us. It's going to be super conversational. And how's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I hate it.
Thanks, Gary.
Shut up, Gary.
All right, let me do that real quick. There we go. So Bethesda. Let's start with Bethesda. It was their first year doing a conference. How do you guys think it went? What got you excited? What didn't get you excited? Just whoever. Go ahead.
I didn't watch that one.
Which one are we starting on again?
None of it excited me at all.
Great conversation.
Bethesda.
I love Bethesda's. I watched that one.
There we go.
That was the only one I watched all the
podcast, Ben.
That's the only one I watched all the way through.
We get together every Monday, discuss games.
Seriously.
I just didn't hear which one he said, and I was like hoping someone would give me context clues to which one he said.
I really like the first game that they showed, and Ben's just like,
Fallout 4.
Okay, Fallout 4.
It's good stuff.
Fecal Matter has been yelling at us to talk about it, and so here you go, Fecal Matter. We're going to talk about Fallout 4 now. Give it to us, buddy.
Fallout 4, it's colorful, it's cool. We already knew that. I did not know about the village building aspect of it, which it really interests me because in things like Assassin's Creed and a lot of RPGs, that's one of my favorite things to do is like build up a dream. You know, you can make your house. In Fallout, it seems like you're more like making shanties. But I like shanties.
It's not even just a house, though.
Well, I know you make like
shanties.
a village and stuff like that.
That's the coolest thing, I feel like.
Yeah,
You build up like a
But what is a village but a collection of houses?
settlement. Yeah, that's true. But you have to like defend it. You have like turrets and things, and you have electricity you can run, and it's like Minecraft on crack with post-apocalyptic with
anti-post-apocalyptic
stuff.
I wish I'd have put $1,000 on them pretending like they weren't going to talk about Fallout. Because they did that. They were like, thanks for coming to our conference. And it's funny how everyone's like, no, you got to talk about Fallout. And I'm like, this is all scripted, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to talk about it just because he asked for it. But yeah, wish I'd have put money on that. Knew that was probably going to happen. But they spent like 25 minutes on it.
Well, it was like 30 or 40, I think. It was most of it was like the second half of their time. I just know that they got done, and he was like, okay, that's all we got. And then I looked at the screen, and I had like 40 minutes left. So I think my favorite part of the Fallout presentation was the director that presented it. He was so awesome.
Yeah,
he was like the best speaker.
Yeah, I thought I could listen to that Todd Howard dude talk.
Oh, you mean Ron Howard?
Yeah, Ron Howard. That's it. I could listen to that Todd Howard dude talk about video games for a long, long time, which he's been at Bethesda for over 20 years. Like he's worked on every major thing that they've put out, and you could just tell he was excited about showing this off.
And it didn't feel scripted at all.
All right.
It didn't feel scripted at all. I felt like he was just, speaking from years of experience.
Yeah,
which is nice.
We used to have a thing at school called student-led chapel on Wednesdays where freshmen would come in and they would give a sermon and lead worship. And it was my favorite chapel of the week, not particularly because it was good, but because it was so freaking awkward. And that's one of the things I really look forward to at E3 is seeing these awkward guys who aren't used to public speaking have to be placed into a position of public speak, especially game developers.
Mm-hmm.
And but I didn't feel like Bethesda's was awkward ever. Like you would have thought they'd been doing this.
The Dishonored was a little weird, but
was Dishonored weird because you didn't particularly care about it, or was it weird because the presenters were weird?
I thought they just sucked, but maybe that's just difference of opinions.
I thought the whole thing just kind of flowed really smoothly. Like they had all their ducks in a row. They got people up there that were comfortable being up there.
That stupid French guy.
Welcome to Racism 3 Podcast.
It always rears its ugly head.
Yeah, I like the idea of building a village and building that village attracting merchants and different people that you can buy stuff from that you wouldn't otherwise be able to purchase.
And he mentioned too, like it being like better gear, like the good stuff is going to be from those people, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
and just making everything you pick up matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like playing The Witcher, I pick up everything. I don't even know what it is. Like even if it says junk, I'm like, I'll take it. I don't know. Maybe I can sell it for a couple dollars. And yes,
I was thinking like, if it works like Oblivion, you should be like a hoarder and just there's a room in your house where you just dump all this junk and just just this junk room.
You're like it's like when you played Minecraft with
all right, you always
with Sam McGee.
You always attribute this to Sam. I'm the man who had the chest full of dirt. Sam opened it and said, "There's a sign that said dirt," and he opens the chest. He's like, "I don't know what I expect."
Yeah, so Sam builds this chest that's filled with dirt.
I built a chest,
and Larry goes in and is like, "I wonder what the heck can be in all of these chests," and he just starts opening all these chests that Sam made, and they're just filled with dirt. And Larry very loudly into the microphone is like, "I don't know what I expected." But anyway, so I'm just going to have an entire room filled with beach balls. But I'm going to label it dirt so that Larry comes in and is like, I don't know what I expected. It's a bunch of beach balls.
No, I'm not going to open it because I expect dirt. And that's how you keep your beach balls safe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes. Because rubber is going to be
a hot commodity.
Yeah, hot commodity in the apocalypse. I'm just calling that. That's why I'm hoarding it in the
I'm so
basement of
excited
my house.
I'm so excited they told us that though, that everything's going to be useful for something, because I am one of those guys who grabs everything I can find in those kind of games.
The best part is going to be when you open it up, when I'm like, I can't fit any more beach balls in there, and you open it up and they're all inflated. And you're like, if you deflated them, then you'd be able to fit more. And I'm like, but what if we run out of air?
Oh, Luke.
Although I didn't see Bethesda's thing, I did see them talk about Fallout 4 on Xboxes maybe. And I'm real excited to see the scale of this, because they said it's the biggest thing they've ever done.
It is.
And this is a company that has made some pretty huge things.
They make exclusively big things.
Yes. They are the Texas of gaming companies.
If you don't want to watch Bethesda and you just want to watch the Fallout demo they did was so good, and I don't think it's he talked like they weren't going to do it anywhere else but Bethesda's thing. So if you watch just Microsoft's, I doubt you got to experience it, but it was.
I didn't.
Gosh, it was so awesome. It was so good.
What do you guys think about Fallout mods on console, on Xbox, and possibly coming to PS4?
I like that a lot. I like that whole Bethesda net they announced to go with all their games. Like, even when they opened with Doom and they were talking about the was it Snap Map or something? I can't remember what they called it. Was it Snap Map?
Yeah.
That's what I miss from Skyrim. Like people have mods out now for Skyrim that are ridiculous. They make the worlds look so realistic. Like, everything is textured perfectly and beautifully, and everything just looks amazing. You can be a Saiyan in Skyrim. They have like a Dragon Ball Z mod, which is real awesome. You can like shoot like your Kamehameha wave and stuff. It's real awesome. But I think it's just really cool to let the community put in, like, kind of like what they did with Foundry with Halo, when you could build your own maps and do custom games. I just think that's really it adds a lot to the overall, like, playability of the game once you beat the main story. Or
yeah, and I'm more. Go ahead.
I once saw a mod where you could have overwhelming amounts of cheese appear out of nowhere. That was pretty neat.
It's raining
And there's
cheese.
There's a Skyrim mod that turns the dragons into Thomas the Tank Engine. That's a good one.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very sinister Thomas the Tank Engine.
I've seen the Muffin mod. Have you seen that one?
No.
Where you can, like, shoot. It's like an augment spell, and you can, like, shoot at people, and it turns them into muffins, and then you can eat them.
So yes, I love that mods are going.
Welcome to Cannibalism 3 podcast.
I think we're going to be limited, though. Like, there's a big old spider web right here because I've been on vacation. We're going to pull that down. Boop. Oh, there's a giant spider. I'm just kidding.
Don't do that to me.
Spiders.
I can't wait till your brother watches the video and creates a meme of the face that you just made, because you're like... But I think, like, as far as, like, the texture mods and stuff like that go, we're going to be kind of limited on console, because those things really wreak havoc on what...
I just looked at Larry's face in the... I'm sorry. I tried to hold it together, but I couldn't.
It's all good. I was like, what are you doing?
Is my mouth blue?
Sort of.
A little bit. Not bad.
Yeah, it's not going to show up on the podcast, so you're good.
There's old Blue Mouth over there talking again.
We're limited in texture, though. I'm sorry.
But, yeah, I wonder how limited we're going to be on the mods that we can use because of just the specs of, Xbox One, and if they come to PS4.
And I mean... When we first got the PS4, I know we had looked at talk from people that were talking about how the specs of the PS4 were close to some of the PC games. I mean, I don't know about now. I don't know if they've upped a lot of the stuff with PC stuff now. And I know it's not on par with, like, graphic specs for a PC and the running power that they have. But, I mean, I think we get close, and I feel like it would be, I don't know, it's just cool to have that lane to explore, to see what can come of it.
I think it's a cool option for other people to have. Personally, I don't think I'm going to use it very much. I have a hard enough time finding time to play the game that the developers made for me to play. Yeah. So I don't see myself setting aside time to do mods. And you mentioned Halo, which this is different because it's a single player experience. But like that year with Halo, it was that had all the Forge maps. Like in Halo 4, there was a time where all you played was Forge maps. Like when they started making those publicly playable, and so modding on the one hand is good when you can kind of dictate when you want to do it. But so I'd like to just kind of see it stay in that arena. Like, hey, I want to participate in this modding stuff, so I'll jump in, but I don't feel forced to do it. Like, don't tie an achievement to me applying a mod or something like that.
I think that's probably the only way they could force you with something like Fallout is if they tied an achievement to it. Which I mean, with everything moving in that direction, I could see where they'd say where achievement would be mod a map or mod a game type, and I don't know. I'm all for it though. Creativity is always good.
Yeah, and I think that's something that mods push is like, all right, your community was able to develop this, and that may inspire your developers in the next iteration of the game to develop something. Anything else about Fallout that really excited you guys?
Do you see where you could like edit your you could like upgrade your the gun mechanic stuff was pretty cool. I figured you'd really be into that, like the Ghost Recon.
Like piece your gun together, and you can turn a pistol into a sniper rifle.
Yeah, I think they said it was it's like they have like 70 different 40. It's either 40 or 70. I know that's a wide range, but I can't remember exactly what they said, and I want to say 70, but I feel like that's too high. Different like base guns in the game, and then you've got I think over 300 or 400 different ways to mod them and change them how you want to and stuff. That to me is just real awesome. With that, adding on to the like build your own house and build your own area thing, and now even with being able to upgrade your mark suit, your power suit, is just really, 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 really cool to me. I don't know. I'm really getting tons more excited about Fallout from just this little small tidbit we got to see.
What do you guys think about the voice acting? I don't know if we talked about that when they did the reveal trailer.
We did a little bit.
I mean, like if it's anything like if it's anywhere near as extensive as The Witcher's was, I'm gonna be really pleased. And
I hated. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish your point.
Tell me what you're gonna say so I can get offended.
Right in your point. I'm sorry. I thought you.
No, I think I was done. So please tell me.
Oh, okay. I hated it at first. The fact that they were going to have voice acting and that your character would be voice acted. But then when I saw the demo that they did, I kind of like it. I think it's going to be cool. Kind of the way that they did the interactions was neat. Like it's third person or first person. You can do you can leave the conversation whenever you want to. You're not locked into that. Like it was really cool how they said you can decide to carry on the conversation. You can cut it short. You can shoot the person in the face if you want to. Like any of those options are open to you. Just the fact that it's all your choice, what you decide to do, how you decide to move forward with it it's just really cool to me. And I feel like I'm going to spend a ridiculous amount of time on this game, an insane amount of time. I may
never leave.
I may need to like make some penance to my wife before I get this game, so she doesn't divorce me.
I think the voice acting is just more natural. Like, if you have NPCs that are talking to you, to have them, being voice acted, and then I have to read my responses is a little. To me, it's disjointed. It disconnects you from it. It's one of the reasons I struggled to get into Fallout 3.
Right.
A lot was because it was just a lot of work to be the character, and so I like the fact that it's voice acted. And
I think the choices they give you within that are, because that was one thing I was worried about too. When you get into that realm, you don't quite know if you're what response you're making exactly. But I think the way they laid it out was pretty cool. They have enough information there for you to understand. I know, like when they introduced like post game interviews on 2K, and you had to pick a response from the reporter, and you didn't always know if what you were saying was what you wanted to actually say. It looked like it was, but when you said it, it was either like something snobby and you meant to be nice or, whatever. And I was nervous about that, but I think the way they've laid it out is pretty cool, and it gives you enough information to know what direction you're trying to speak in.
Yeah. What else from Bethesda? What do you guys think about Doom? That's what I want.
Doom was awesome looking.
I could go either way on Doom. That's probably something that I'll pick up.
It looked great, but that's as far as I probably would get with Doom.
It looks like fun, but I don't know if it's the kind of lasting fun that I'm going to be playing 5 years from now.
Yeah.
To me, it was more. It looked to me like it was going to have the staying power for me personally as like a fighting game. of where I would love to get together with a group of friends and watch each other play it because so much crazy stuff can happen, and all the dismemberment and the gun design and the graphics were gorgeous.
And then when The Rock comes out and starts doing his thing.
But for me, it was like, I'm going to have to see more of this to determine a replay value in it. Because it seems the pace of it was weird. Like, I don't want to say it was slow paced, but it wasn't exactly fast paced either.
I think whenever you take Doom, like Doom, what made Doom so crazy for me when I played it, the original Doom, like you're in tight corridors, like everything is like really tunneled, like there's no openness to it, and I think when you add the openness, it gets less creepy for me at least. It looked like I don't know, it just looked like a hack and slash game instead of like a creepy hack and slash game. I know Doom's always meant to be like just big explosions, like huge splatteria all over the place. But
They were talking. Did you say splatteria?
Yeah.
Okay. They were talking about that on. I think it was Kind of Funny last week, right after that show, and they kind of agreed with the same thing. It doesn't look as creepy. Now it could still be creepy. There could be creepy moments, but I mean, a lot of kind of. I don't know if you'd really call Doom. You wouldn't call Doom survival horror, but.
No, I don't think it has
if it's
scarcity.
the survival element, but it's got similarities to that, and if they're going like the way of Resident Evil, then they could be going towards more action than creep factor, or maybe you just have little creep zones where you get into a dark place. Because I mean, you go somewhere, places aren't dark all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like even when they showed Hell, like that's supposed to be like the craziest part of that game, and it was just. I don't know. It felt like Venus from Destiny. Like that's what I thought I was on. I was like, this looks a lot like Venus, and it just seemed weird. I don't know. It was just strange to me.
With Doom kind of being the grandfather of first-person shooters, you would think that they would feel like they had the liberty to kind of be a little more creative.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like it was very iterative of other first-person shooters right now. Like they didn't really continue that tradition of being a trendsetter in the industry with what they put out there, because it looked Lauren, which Lauren's not into video games all that much, but she was like, "Is this Halo?" Because it has that feel, it has that look. Like I didn't feel like they really went and took a step out and said, "Here's something." Now Snap Map. We've already talked about it a little bit. I do think that is something that can be
great,
incredibly awesome. You know, allowing all the players to have access to all of the assets. That's really cool to me to see what people can come up with, and even as deep as being able to fix the AI of the characters that you put into that world. Like that's really cool, and I think that may be the thing where Doom kind of sets the trend again. But in terms of gameplay, nothing really looked all that different to me.
And I think the market's so saturated with first-person shooters. I feel like Doom is like riding on the "we started this" thing, you know, like we were the first like big first-person shooter to come out, and I think they're kind of maybe riding on that a little too much. There's not enough innovation, I don't feel like, in this game to make me be like, man, this looks awesome. It just feels like, I don't know. It's like you said, it just feels like another first-person shooter, and it doesn't feel like Doom.
It's one of those scenarios like when you see a old Quentin Tarantino movie. I think I'm probably stealing this from one of those other podcasts. In fact, I'm almost positive I am. But Quentin Tarantino, was doing his thing and he has his own very unique style when it comes to film. And then he kind of took a break for a while. And when he came back, everyone else was doing it, and people were like, "Who is this Quentin Tarantino guy?" Kind of like, also, I'll take it further, and this is not from another podcast, and it probably doesn't work as well. But like when Paul McCartney did that song with Kanye West, and all the teens, all the teeny boppers around the world were like, "Oh man, Kanye's gonna blow this Paul McCartney's got career through the roof. Like this guy's gonna be famous in like 2 years." Little known fact: Paul McCartney was a Beatle.
For those of you who don't know, he kind of was the precursor to David Tennant.
He was a Beatle.
Yeah, he's a Beatle.
Anything else from Bethesda that you guys want to particularly mention?
They are doing a Dishonored Definitive Edition, which is pretty cool. I didn't get to play the first one, so I didn't
either. I'm excited for that.
I'll have an option to play. Watching just I guess it's rendered gameplay footage, it's not actual gameplay footage, but just seeing the stuff that happens. I don't know how the control of your character actually works, but it looks like really cool movement, like I guess the girl was like dematerializing and then rematerializing or something. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it looked really cool. I thought it was neat.
Yeah. A lot of people like that game. I'm like you. I never really got a chance to play the original, so I may check it out. So, all right. Well, we'll come back to We'll do Microsoft and Sony at the end if that's cool with you guys.
Sure.
Whatever.
So let's move on to EA. EA was after Microsoft. What do you guys want to talk about from EA?
I feel like I should let Larry go ahead and talk about Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge!
Yeah, so he can have some talk time because I have very little to talk about for EA's because I didn't watch it.
Hey! What do you know?
I've been looking forward to this game for years, and first it got canceled, and I wept openly. And then a couple E3s ago, I got real excited, and now I'm even more excited because that trailer looked awesome. I kind of like that they've decided to reboot it because I feel like there aren't as many people familiar with the story as are acting like are familiar with the story.
So it is a reboot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Which was brilliant.
what?
That's what they needed to do.
Yeah, because it's been like, what, 6-7 years? Something crazy like that.
Yeah, and it was a cult hit. It wasn't like a commercial success.
Yeah, and for that much of a gap, and like just restarting the story is good, and I love the story. Just this society where corporations have taken over now, and there's no privacy, and people employ the runners to transmit communications that they don't want monitored, and I don't know how they're going to get her Faith caught up in the action in this one, but she winds up caught up in taking on this big corporation. She's just this lowly runner, and it's such a fun game. Just the first person parkour is fantastic.
Well, is she like a pizza delivery girl of the future or something?
No.
Okay.
Well, sort of bike messenger of the future, but not with a bike.
Okay. Sans the bike.
But it looks like in this one,
Sans
there's
the
even like
bike.
this aspect where she is employed in some fashion, and because it's got this over voiceover thing at the beginning of them telling the people how they can succeed and better themselves, and maybe one day you can be part of the higher caste. And I just love those kind of sci-fi stories, and the government get too
little
powerful, and you
dystopia.
gotta take them down.
Yeah.
If the
Every
world-
day I wake up and I think, what can I do today to stick it to the man?
What can I take to take the white man down? That's
Right.
what Larry's saying every day when he wakes up.
If a group of corporations was to take over the world, what corporations do you think it would be? Google, obviously,
Yeah,
would be one.
but they would swallow up Comcast first.
Right. I think we'd be okay if Google took over the world.
Right. Well, no. Google will take over Comcast because Comcast will fail under Google. But little do they know that they are consuming a cancer that will infest them from within. And that's how Google turns evil.
Gosh.
Podcast?
And now you don't have to buy Mirror's Edge Catalyst. You now know the plot of it.
Right. I love the fighting in it. It's a lot of using your environment and stuff. And it looks very similar to the first game, which I think is a great thing because I loved that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And, it just looks excellent. I'm so excited about it.
Zephyr Baby says, from what I heard from my network buddies who got to go to E3 and play Mirror's Edge, it was the biggest disappointment out of the playable demo.
Your thoughts, Larry?
Don't care.
Yeah,
a lot of people didn't like the first one. So.
Well, until you get your hands on it and that sort of stuff. And that game is very dependent on how smoothly it can run on these consoles because it's all about connecting motion and parkouring through the map. What do you think about it being open world and not levels?
I love that aspect. The first one, because parkour is all about finding this path through things, and the first one gave you that feel, but you didn't really have that freedom to decide where you were going to go. You were still forced to go a direction, and so it just makes sense to give you that freedom.
Yeah. I didn't play the first one, and I wasn't particularly moved much, which I'm not big into first person. For the amount of motion that's involved in that game, putting it in first person feels claustrophobic to me, and I haven't played it by any means to know, but I'm glad you're excited about it. And you got a release date for it, February 23rd?
I think 26th,
Was it
wasn't it?
26? I couldn't remember.
Somewhere in there, though.
So, end of February.
Yeah,
Gosh, you going to go pre-order it?
I am. You know what? With the last one, there was like this bag that came with it if you pre-ordered, like one of the runner bags,
Uh-huh.
and that thing was real cool. So if they do something like that again, I will pre-order it. I don't even care.
I feel like I could care less about Mirror's Edge. I'm sorry, Larry.
You could care less, so you're real excited.
Maybe. No, I don't feel like there's enough in that game to like pull my attention. But I mean, it's not anything against your likes.
Feel free to believe what you want to believe.
You don't like what I like? Well,
Don't come to my mall.
don't come to my mall.
Was that an invitation? You never told me.
Yes.
Welcome to Personal Conversation 3 podcast. Let me pull up my notes because I do have something that I want to conversate about with not necessarily anything particularly at EA, but just with the structure that they used.
They're doing their
you
new,
watched almost you skipped around on it.
Yeah.
And you probably skipped a lot of the sports stuff, correct?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I had more notes for all these, but I left my notebook at my house an hour away, so.
Well, I want to just mention this about the structure that they use. I feel like EA would be better served to open up their conference and say, hey, for the first 30 minutes, we're going to talk EA Sports. And so we're going to talk PGA, FIFA, NBA. We're going to talk Madden. And then we'll move on to everything else. Because the way that they had it, it was so disjointed and it was so much to not care about if you're not I'm a huge sports fan, so it held my attention all throughout because I play all of those games, and I'm very excited about NBA Live 16. They said they're announcing a new game mode, and I'm hoping that it's online franchise.
If it is, we may be getting that this year.
Can you play horse?
No, you used to be able to, but the fact that they were like, okay, we're going to talk about 2 non-sports games, then we're going to talk about NHL, then we're going to talk about another non-sports game, and then we're going to talk about FIFA. And then a couple non-sports games, and then Madden. And, it just felt disconnected and gave the audience that doesn't care about sports games too many times to say, well, I'm just going to check out. So if they were like, okay, our conference is at 2 o'clock. From 2 to 2:30, it's all EA Sports. And so if you come in at 2:30, that's when we're going to start hitting all the non-sports stuff that you're going to care about.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Zephyr, did your friends like the first Mirror's Edge? Or were they familiar with it at all? Because that would make a difference to me. I know that you're moving on from that. I'm just curious. Because one of those games, too, that the more it's about learning how to master the controls and the movement. And so if you don't like that, then, yeah, you won't like it. But we don't have to wait on his answer.
Okay. So, yeah, I just thought their structure could be flipped around to hold the attention of the general population more, just better.
That's part of why I skipped around so much, because I was like, oh, another sports game I don't care about. Moving on.
And it's like, for all of the awkwardness that was lacking at Bethesda's, EA more than made up for it by letting that zombie march around stage for a minute and a half before getting him escorted off for Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I understand that game came out of nowhere and was successful, but first of all, it was a launch title in a very slim launch title library, and it was fun. I know it was fun for a lot of people, but
It was fun.
But they spent entirely too much. I skipped all that. That was like a solid 10-12 minutes of their conference was about Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. So,
Did you see anything good about the new Old Republic game? The new Old Republic.
The new expansion.
Is it an expansion?
yeah, it was an expansion too.
Oh, look at me being dumb.
Yeah. It's okay, buddy.
'Cause I didn't watch EA's. I just trying
It
to.
looks pretty. I watched the CGI trailer and it looked. I mean, that game's always looked really interesting to me. My PC just can't run it though. But those yellow lightsaber twins and they're running around. Either of you guys watch that?
Yes, I did.
It looked wild. It looked really Star Warsy, and that's what I like.
It looks story driven, and it makes me excited about. I think BioWare's also working on a console game that the creative director from Naughty Dog is working on. She left to go work on that project. So I'm looking for something a little more story driven than Battlefront. Battlefront's going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about Battlefront.
Let's talk about Battlefront.
Let's.
I'm declaring now, and I'm going to reiterate this point here in a little bit, that I am no longer trusting the opinion of Reddit on most things, because everyone poo-pooed all over Battlefront, and it is missing some things that that made Battlefront 2 especially successful. But everything they've shown so far, they finally showed gameplay, and it looks awesome.
It looks like what I would expect from Battlefront.
Yes.
I don't see the grounds for disappointment.
It's just, whatever. Was it Tatooine or whatever that new planet is that they were showing
Hoth?
that game. It wasn't Hoth. There was a little bit of Hoth.
They did a battle with Hoth.
But this was
The
it was
deserty
it
planet.
was in the desert.
And you had like
and
the shields. That was
yeah, the little bubble shield thing popping
Yeah.
up, and then
You
you got
talking
your
about the
blaster.
gameplay?
Yeah.
Weren't they playing on?
Was it Jakku or was it Tatooine?
It was a snowy map.
I thought it was a desert map.
I watched. They were. I
Nah,
think they
'cause
did. I
it's
think they
from-
did both. They did two separate things.
Oh, did they? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I wasn't paying attention.
We're
that
talking
much.
about different
Because
things.
Yeah,
they
it's Hoth.
recreated.
Hoth
There
is
was
not
another
the desert world.
No, it's a snow one.
Yeah,
This
they
is not
recreated
snow.
the. They basically recreated the scene from episode 5
Mhm.
in the beginning of that movie where they wrap up the AT-AT's legs. And,
I saw something different.
I did. I know what you're talking about. It was on. It was either on Tatooine or Jakku, which we haven't. I don't think we've actually seen yet, other than the trailer.
Did they present Battlefront in another conference as well? Or not
Yeah.
another-
They might have had like an on-floor demo that they then later posted to YouTube or something that you watched, or you might have seen
Oh.
their reveal at the Star. If it wasn't direct gameplay, then it was from the Star Wars event a couple months ago.
This
when
was
they
direct
revealed.
gameplay. It was just something else. I watched it
Okay.
on the IGN app.
Sony did Battlefront.
That's
That's what it was.
Okay, that's what it was.
Okay. Anyway, looks great. So fun. Split screen. There's split screen is a dying thing, and it needs to make a comeback. And Battlefront, I love everyone on your staff, and I will buy each of you a car.
Killstar says they were playing on a cocaine map, and I don't care what the reality of it is I choose to accept that one.
It makes sense.
Ah,
You trip and fall as one of your little foot soldiers, and you wake up and your eyes are wide.
Let's go to war!
and you have intense speed and you don't take damage for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy Boy 90 asked about a story mode in Battlefront. No, they will have individual like missions that you can be a part of that may amount to some fashion of a story.
Sort of
but
similar to Destiny.
They don't have a dedicated like campaign.
But it's just about recreating battles from the movies. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how Battlefront's always been. So
I don't expect a story mode from Battlefront.
watch the movies, and then you can have the story of Battlefront.
But I thought it was awesome. Like, I loved every bit of it. The fact that you can fly around and shoot things, and
Now, is the split screen, is it 4-player or is it 2-player?
2-player split screen.
You don't want to be playing no 4-player split screen.
I know, I don't want to, but if it's there, I mean, it's cool.
Killstar also mentions that they used Battlefield 4 sounds. It's a dice game, so they're going to use assets they already have. But I thought the sound design of it really was the most immersive part. Like, it looks beautiful, but just hearing the soundtrack and the sound effects of the lasers, and like they're using the original sound effects, basically. The fact that they were able to get into the prop vaults for these movies and completely recreate all of these things. So like when you're flying an X-Wing, it is rendered exactly like the way that they were designed originally. Like, that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
I just love having the backing tracks. You know, when you're fighting, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be so good.
I was really disappointed at where they let off at the EA, where Luke and Darth Vader were about to square off. I wanted to see how that worked.
Well, they know that, and that's why they want to pique your interest by saving that footage for later.
Yeah. Now you
It's all about the slow game.
Saving that fudge, is that what you?
footage.
So it's all about saving that fudge for later, because you don't want to have all your fudge at the same time. You got to have your fudge little by little,
Then you get diabetes.
or else you get the diabetes and you grow old and fat.
I should be able to choose whether or not I want diabetes.
Yep.
That is your decision.
This is America, baby.
It's your body.
Anything else about Battlefront you guys want to mention?
I'm just excited for it. What's the release date again?
November
20-something.
Is it 20-something?
Or is it the 17th?
Oh, it's November.
There's a lot of stuff in November. That's
Yeah.
why I'm kind of having trouble keeping track with them.
Let's see. November 17th.
Okay.
Yes. So we ready to move on to other EA things?
Sure.
Let's talk.
I suppose.
Let's shoot the breeze.
The thing this was all just personality and not necessarily the gameplay, but did you watch the Unraveled stuff
No.
from Caldwood Studios? It was one dude, a maker of the game, presenting it, and it was so endearing because he was so excited to be there. Like, And you could just tell he stepped out on that stage and was overwhelmed at the fact that, like, I started this project on a family vacation a couple years ago, and now I'm standing on a stage in front of thousands of people in the audience and tens of thousands of people watching across the internet. And I was like, I want to buy this game to support this dude. Like, and the concept of it was cool. You know, you're this yarn doll that I was a big fan of Limbo, and it seemed like a much more lighthearted version of Limbo, the puzzle platformer idea, and like the idea that you're stringing these things together and you're creating relationships and tying them together. And he said something about the game that I really liked. He said, there's some levels where you'll get to the end of it and you'll look back at what you've done and you're going to say, how did I get there? And that's kind of how life is. Like, I'm standing on this stage at E3 and I'm looking back on how I got here, and I'm like, I don't know how I even got here.
It's one of them corn flab metaphor games.
Yeah. Yep. So I was really his personality in and of itself made me interested in that game, and I just wanted to. I don't want to spend too much time on it because but
No, is it going to be arcade or is it going to be a full title?
I mean, it'll be a digital release probably. But
I'm saying is it like a 60 game or is
oh
it
no,
20
it's not
something?
gonna be a $60 game. I hope not. So
This doesn't look like a $60 game, but I mean it looks awesome.
oh man, that's not right. Anyway, anything else from EA that you guys want to talk about? Maybe Ben, me and you can do a special sports
that'd be
game
good.
podcast.
Sportscast.
Because I don't want to waste a bunch of people's time that may not be interested in it.
And I
Mainly mine.
didn't
God.
watch this. I didn't watch EA's thing, so
Yeah, that would be good too.
so we can watch that before
So
we do.
just Luke talking about sports games.
I'm trying to think of what else EA showed. What did they open with? Oh, they opened
Mass
with
Effect
Need,
and
yeah, they
Unraveled.
opened with Mass Effect, but that was just a tease. And then they talked about Need for Speed. Not particularly excited about Need for Speed. So yeah, EA is always the weakest of the bunch, in my opinion. I was very proud of them for not doing any of those dumb dev diaries, though, like they did almost every game last year. So,
Weaker than Nintendo.
well, I didn't watch Nintendo's because I knew how weak Nintendo's was. Is that a dead bug? You want to eat this?
No, it's a stank bug.
Protein.
Throw that over there.
Welcome to Protein 3
Stank
Podcast.
tank.
So let's move on. Let's talk about Ubisoft. ladies and
Ubisoft.
gentlemen. Ladies- Thanks, Gary. Look at Larry jumping on the Gary train. over
Larry
here.
Gary.
Larry Gary.
once.
That's
Yeah,
old
Larry
Gary. That's
Gary.
Gary Larry over there. Syndicate.
1 second before we move on.
Okay.
Jamie ZG said it was the weakest EA conference in years, in his opinion. Go back and watch last year's, and you're allowed to have your opinion about it. But last year was a bunch of dev diaries of like developers of games sitting in front of concept art, talking about a game that may be coming in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
At least this time they had a trailer that went along with just about everything they talked about. But
Is that intent to say my name weird?
no,
Is that an N?
that's what here.
Yeah, what is that?
That's Yarny. That's the Unraveled character. So, all right. Okay. Ubisoft Syndicate. Talk to me,
Syndicate.
baby.
Oh man, I watched a couple of trailers. The one that really stuck out to me though was where you're playing as Eevee and you go in and you're fighting. It was a different thing. The Eevee gameplay was cool. You had the cane sword. You really got to show off some of the new stuff and kind of how that lady gameplay is going to work out. Is there a baby here?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Your baby?
I made that.
Okay. I was like, where's this baby coming from? Am I having a stroke? A baby stroke. All right. And then the Jacob gameplay was awesome. Like where it kind of cuts from the CGI to sort of little gameplay action going on where you're on the stagecoach, and you're in the stagecoach chase, which looked awesome. You don't really think of stagecoach chases that often when you go back to stage.
Just fight
coach.
through it.
I'm
You just
fighting
gotta
through-
fight through
This baby's weeping. And it's killing me softly. But yeah, and then you kind of go off the bridge and you come back up and kick some butt. The game looks action packed, and I've really got high hopes for it, which I do every year. And sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. I liked how fluid Eevee's movement and stuff was. Like,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, was that actual gameplay footage, or
I think a part of it was.
because
It always
And
tricks
it
you
could
when
be-
rendered or unrendered.
Yeah, and it could be sort of a thing, which hopefully they're moving away from loading screens that we had to deal with in Unity, It could be a thing where you kind of go from fighting to cutscenes flawlessly, but I doubt it.
Like a
I doubt
1886 kind of thing,
Kinda.
or Last of Us.
Hopefully not.
But you haven't played that.
Huh? I know. I just know that that was a big thing that I was excited about for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that all? Is that all about Assassin's Creed you wanted to mention?
For me, for now, yeah. Well, we got a lot of stuff to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ubisoft stuff here.
there's one thing that I care about talking about.
Yeah, here we go.
But are
This
we
is
gonna
where
do
I'm
that?
jumping in.
Are we gonna do this now, or are we gonna
go
wait?
for it, man. This is conversation.
The Division
Yes.
has won my heart.
Yes.
that Dark Zone little
It is
strike
already.
quest.
It's already. Well, I mean, it's already won my heart, but it won it even more. It's like. It's won my heart so much. It's not radio worthy. I can't tell you what I want to do to this game.
You gotta make an awkward phone call. I'm sure you get calls like this all the time.
No, but this. I mean, I don't understand how it's all gonna work. As far as the Dark Zone stuff goes, and let me explain what I mean by that. They're introducing a thing where the multiplayer and the single player is seamless. You can, if you didn't see it, you'll be able to go to the Dark Zone. It's a dark zone. It's like a big thing through Manhattan, and you get to go through it. And
There's multiple dark zones.
Well, it's just one, I think.
No, there's multiple dark zones throughout the map that you can go to. I'm pretty sure.
I think there's multiple entrances to the one.
Okay.
But it's semantics, whatever. It's not a big deal. But you go into these areas, and that's where all like the big loot is and stuff. And you go with your team, and you try to fight these. You can fight like AI enemies, and you have like the other people enemies.
That was the coolest part of that little segment for me is when. Yeah, I need to interrupt you.
No, you're good. That's conversational.
Please continue
no,
after
no.
this. But when they're like kind of assessing out the situation and then figuring out what they're gonna do to these AI enemies, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we got action behind us, and there are three other players that are like sneaking up on them, and they have this standoff for a second when they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and then the other guys start attacking the other guy, like the NPCs, and they kind of team up and go together, and that could go either way, and that's sort of the beauty of it. That's a real situation. When that time comes in reality, it's going to be all out war like that all the time. You got to be on pins and
needles. You
needles.
have to assess the situation, which is really, really cool to me.
Well, let me talk about what we saw in the Dark Zone stuff first, all around, just so that we can make sure that everyone's on the same page listening to us talk about what was cool about it. So, as you said, the Dark Zone is the multiplayer arena, and the part I like most about it is that there's lore behind it. Like, these were the parts of the city that they quarantined to try to keep the people that were infected in, and it got overran, had to be abandoned, and so now there's all this military grade loot that's in there, and so the best loot that you can find in the game is in the Dark Zone. So there's an incentive to going into these multiplayer areas. You can go in either individually or as a squad of up to 4 players, 3 or 4 players.
I think it's 3.
So you go in. It's only PvP if you or the people in it create PvP. You can go in and go through it peacefully, but let's say I find loot. I find a gun that I particularly want to use. It is contaminated until I get it out of the Dark Zone and can decontaminate it and equip it. So I have to successfully extract it from the Dark Zone before I can use it. And so you pick this thing up. When someone puts their reticle over you, they can see that you're carrying loot. I'm not sure if they can see exactly what it is, but they can just see that you have Dark Zone loot on you. And you have to shoot up a flare. You have 90 seconds to get...
from an evacuation point. You got to get to
you got to get to an evacuation point. Then you have to shoot a flare off, 90 seconds to hold enemies off. If another person wants to take your stuff, they can engage you in combat. If they do, they turn into a rogue agent. They get marked on the map. They can kill you, take your stuff, but they continue to be marked. The more they kill, the more they become highlighted on the map. And then they have to fight people off until they can extract the weapon themselves. Even to the extent that if the 3 of us go into a Dark Zone together and we get awesome loot and we divide it, and Ben is being greedy, which Seth and I will literally kill you. We will come to your house and be.
I don't plan on ever turning on our
I will find
So
you.
you can't attack your own party.
Yeah.
You can leave your party and then
You have to cut communications with them and all that good stuff, which is really, really cool. Like, That's so cool to me. I think
Like the game will cut communications.
you have to physically cut communications with them,
like
and
you
then
have to leave a party or whatever.
No,
you don't have to like go to your party yet, but there's a way in the menu. You leave your party, you cut comms with them. That way, if you get into a firefight, you can't listen to where they're going.
Right.
But the way they revealed it was so cool. Like the three of them, they fought off all these enemies. They're almost to the end of it. One of the guys is down. And did you watch it?
Well, but they grouped up with two other people, and then they decided to kill those two people.
Yeah.
And then that's what you're getting ready to talk about happened.
So at the end, this guy's down, and the girl's like, "Hey, can you help him up?" And they can't hear the guy talking anymore. They're like, "Hey, where'd you go? Help him up." And he's walking towards the girl, shoots the girl, gets them both down, and then executes them both. And runs off with their loot. And it's like, it's so awesome. And people freaked out when they saw it first at Ubisoft because they didn't make it very clear that you would be marked as a rogue agent and that there would be like some sort of deterrence from doing that.
Because that could get really out of hand really quick.
Yeah, but when they revealed that if you become rogue, you get marked on the map, that was awesome to me. And even cooler was the fact that if the three of us are in, and we get engaged by Larry and Sam as Larry is discovering Sam's chest of Minecraft dirt.
Yes.
And they engage us, and we defend ourselves. We don't get marked as rogue agents, which was really cool to me as well. So
kind of like the tibia system with the skull, the red skull, and the white skull.
It's actually almost exactly that way because a skull comes up over your shoulder, which is pretty cool.
Are you guys leaning towards PlayStation for this game?
No.
It's Xbox. Yeah, we're doing Xbox.
This is gonna be Xbox.
Can we roll up in the dark zone and just see how many we can take on before they take us down?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think you can do multiple fire teams together. Like you can do us three in a fire team.
I mean, you got to make sure you're on the same server somehow.
We just roll in with an army, like 12 of us, just gunning down everybody.
One thing that wasn't answered for me for this, which I don't know, I didn't get to see the entirety of Ubisoft's. I watched like the snippets of the Dark Zone stuff and a lot of the Division stuff, but I don't know if were the hideouts explained at all, like your safe zones, like your little area, was that explained at all?
What was that?
Your hideout or your team, your fire team place, because that's when you send your loot away, that's where your stuff goes from the dark.
Yeah, they didn't
explain. See, I'm nervous that that's going to be a bunch of just generic places that you can't, like, I would love to see if that's somewhere that like your fire team can customize. Like we've all got areas within that safe house that we can do things with. I think that would be really cool. But that's one question that hasn't been answered for me yet. But if it doesn't happen, oh well. The rest of this stuff is awesome. I think it's really, really cool.
And every time we talk about the Division, I say it, but I'm like, this is the game I wanted Destiny to be, where it's like just kind of open. I come and go as I please. I do what I want to do. Like, I don't have to go back to orbit to get into multiplayer. And the fact that the Dark Zone is kind of like a create your own narrative within it, and I can go in and it'd be completely peaceful, and I don't have to do any fighting, or I can go in and it can just be complete mayhem, or I can go in with 12 of my closest friends and just try to wreak havoc on everybody.
So if you're a Play 3 podcast listener, be sure to get this game for Xbox.
Yes, and we will have the P3P army taking everyone's loot.
If you guys turn on us, we'll literally kill you.
Yeah, we'll boot you. You'll no longer be able to watch our stream.
I think
mostly because we've taken your eyes.
Another thing that was really we got to see a couple more equipment things in the gameplay that they showed. There's a healing grenade, which is really cool. They've got that seeker mine thing that rolls around, but they've got a healing grenade now, which is really neat. I think it's cool. And the whole the whole side of we don't know a lot about the like encumbrance and stuff like that, like how that's going to work, how much you can carry and things, but I don't know if are there specific. Do we know anything about specific roles? That just brought to my head.
Say, was like, it'd be really cool if it wasn't a class thing. It was just you build your own stuff. Like if I want to be the guy who carries around heavy machine guns, but I also throw healing grenades, let me do that.
You'd be a medic in Battlefield.
Is that what medics? I didn't know. Yeah, that's right. They do carry the big machine guns.
But like I would love to see this not be a class system, but you can decide within like your group what class, like how you want to play. Yeah. Because there's times that I love to play as a medic, but I don't want to be locked into that side of it, you know. Yeah. And I just equipment available to all classes is cooler to me because you don't have to make that decision at the very beginning. You can play the game, see how you like playing it and then work it out that way.
What if one day we run through the dark zone and like all 12 of us are medics and we're just healing everybody?
We're just chucking grenades.
Stop the fighting! Stop the violence!
We're all pacifists. This game,
hippies taking over Manhattan.
this game cannot come soon enough for me though.
And it is coming March. That got a release date too.
I got half a
This
milkshake
is very
for him.
conversational here. Here we go. March 8th. 6 days after my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited. 26 is
So
gonna be
far
a good-
away though.
26 is going to be a good year for me.
That
So
only
far
gives me
away.
2 weeks to beat Mirror's Edge.
You got that. You're going to beat Mirror's Edge in 2 weeks.
You're right.
What do you think the campaign's going to be? 12, 14 hours?
I'd be surprised if it's that much. I'd be pleasantly surprised. But I'd
The
be
first one was
surprised.
like 8, right? 6 or 8?
I guess it was. I don't know. I'd have to go back.
I got you.
Oh yeah, we've got this invention. You guys may have heard of it. It's called the internet.
We have the power. We have the technology.
Anyway, while I'm looking this up, well, we're right here. Actually.
Never mind. I was
Takes
gonna-
about 6 hours. 6.5 hours is the main story. 9 hours for the main story and extras, and 15 if you're a completionist. But I don't know what that means. So that's
100%
probably
everything.
doing all the time trials and all that. Sort
You
of
have to find all the bags and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Bags hidden on the maps.
How we continually keep going back to Mirror's Edge here.
It's because I'm so excited for it. It's the game I'm most excited for.
Do you know? Well, I was gonna bring us back to the Division for a second. The one of the cool things about the Dark Zone thing, when I first thought, I thought once you got killed in the Dark Zone, you were done. Like that was kind of game over. But you respawn and you can go after the people who killed you, which is kind of cool.
Ooh,
We didn't say much about that.
Revenge.
what if we roll through killing people and we don't even take their loot? We just throw it on the ground.
And they can come get it.
But we're waiting, and as soon as they pick it up, we kill them again.
This game has all kinds of opportunities for you to just be complete a-holes to people.
I'm so excited.
Can we just make a pact that we're not going to be a-holes to each other?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go to bed angry.
I
And I'm
see,
gonna be
yeah,
really
I'll be so
mad.
pissed if we get loot and you kill
Seth?
me in the Dark Zone. I was talking to
Seth
Ryan.
is going to be the dude who's like, yeah, I won't do anything. And then he shoots us down and then throws a healing grenade at us just so he can kill us again.
I was talking to
Or he's-
Ryan.
You're right.
He's that guy. He finds a car and he's like, "Hop in, guys!" But he backs over us. He's like, "Oh!" Acts like it was an accident, but he just keeps running us down.
You're right.
I was talking to Ryan Sunday, and I was like, Luke is the jerk who would kill me in the Dark Zone and take all my loot. And that's why I don't feel great about
No,
that.
see,
We're already turning on each other.
But I wouldn't do that because I would be so incredibly angry if you did that to me.
Yeah, that's true.
So, anything? What else from Ubisoft? I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Just
division.
Dance 2016.
For honor. For honor.
You know
First
what?
of all- First of all, For Honor, that dude looked like he could have beaten someone in a sword fight.
I'm sure he could have. I'm sure he has.
That
Can I
dude
say
was
something
so
really quick?
intense.
Can I say something really quick before we get into
Yes.
For Honor? It's about For Honor, but it's not anything to do with For Honor. It'll make sense in a second.
My favorite thing about
The way
For
that
Honor-
Ubisoft listed their big games, I read the South Park game, and it's right after, and I was like, "What?" It didn't make sense to me, but I don't want to read it on air because I don't know if we can say that.
What, the fractured butthole For Honor?
Yeah,
It's not. It's butthole. It's two words.
the fractured butthole.
Seriously. Yeah, the fractured
No,
butthole.
you're saying it like one word. It's
Yeah.
the fractured.
B-U-T.
and when Cartman says
The
in the
fractured
trailer-
butthole.
Yeah, exactly. And Cartman says in the trailer, he's like, the fractured butthole.
Was he doing a French accent?
yeah. Cartman's French.
Did the guy that did the what's his face do the voice acting for that game?
Yeah, it's train match.
It'll be
James Earl
like
Jones?
it'll be like Stick of Truth then.
Yeah, yeah.
They
which
got
is-
up on that stage and just used the most foul language right off the get-go.
It was so first of all, I love Aisha. It's Taylor, right? Not Taylor.
Yeah,
it's
Aisha Tyler.
Tyler.
It's
Aisha
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah,
I love that they have her doing it because you can tell like she genuinely likes games.
yeah.
And like she just gets up there and just says whatever she wants. It's awesome. I wish it's funny because I watched Ubisoft and then like today I was watching Sony's coming back from vacation and I'm like, this is just a bunch of dudes in suits talking to me, like they didn't seem to. I mean, you can tell the guys are passionate about
Yeah.
gaming, but you just didn't get the same feel as you do at Ubisoft. Ubisoft is so just relaxed and like we're gonna talk about games like you guys talk about
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
But yes, For Honor.
That seems really cool to me. Like you can have a battle royale with a Viking and a samurai.
It looks
Just
like it's
mono a
gonna
mono.
It looks like it's going to be very complex.
It does. I also think that it's not going to have a lot of lasting value for me, but I'm going to play it for like a good month and just love it.
Because it's a 4-on-4. Is it 4-on-4 PvP?
I think so, or I think you can do 1-on-1. I saw some battles that were just like one guy on one guy.
Yeah.
I didn't see this thing. So you can be a samurai, a knight. What else?
You can be a samurai, you can be a knight, you can be a Viking, and you can be... let me pull it up. I'm hoping this article from VentureBeat also has a picture of this dude who announced it because it was so awesome. A samurai, a medieval... Where are we at? A samurai, a Viking, a medieval knight. Was that all? Was it just 3?
And a ranger. No.
First of all, look at this guy. Now, he doesn't look as awesome in this picture because he doesn't have his cane. So we're going to go find a picture of him with his cane. Because he had that cane. He was just rocking. And you could just tell he was so excited about this game. But yeah, I saw it and I was like, eh.
I mean, it's not one of the most exciting games I've ever seen, but it does have value for me.
Now,
I'm going to get some enjoyment out of it.
Is it one of those arena games? Like the arena, whatever we said.
MOBA?
MOBA. Is it a MOBA?
No.
Look at him with his cane, dude. He's so
Yeah.
awesome. He's probably got a sword in this cane right here, like Eevee.
Oh, look at that
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. But anyway, I like stuff like this though because it's different.
Yeah.
Like-
you don't see a lot of it.
Yeah, but it looks like it's gonna. I was listening. Well, I think I was listening to Beyond talk about it, about how the controls on it are just insanely in depth, and like you'd almost be better just to go try to learn how to actually sword fight.
It's got some value to it though, because I mean, sword fighting is like you think like. We know when you were kids, Luke, you probably didn't have this experience because you never watched Star Wars, but I used to like try to have lightsaber battles with like little plastic lightsabers you could get from Walmart. And we would do it and try to like be spinning them around and then try to like actually bang them against each other and fight, which you're not actually supposed to do with those, I don't think, because they just break. But you realize very early that there's a real art to it. You can't just like roll in and just start trying to sword fight because you'll just end up
Cutting your arm off.
basically. You'll cut your own arm off. Like if that was an actual lightsaber made of heat and light, I would have been very dead within seconds. Or you're just, and you always have that other kid that just kind of like swings it around like this, and he's impossible to hit. Like that's the most effective strategy you can do is just move your sword in different directions. Yeah, I really like the idea of really in-depth, intricate controls that you can like, for combat. Now it could get very annoying very fast if you don't really want to put the time into it, but if you got that kind of time, that kind of patience, like, yeah, let's do it.
It'll make you feel like you're actually learning to sword fight.
Well, and I think that may be where it finds its longevity, and in the inevitable DLC of other different people that you can sword fight as,
Right.
like a Jedi.
Like a Jedi. Like a Jedi.
I'm trying to think of some random speculation here of other.
Oh yeah, what other kinds of characters could we fight as? A Spanish conquistador,
Conquistador.
What about a sumo wrestler?
a Game of Thrones water dancer.
That sounds cool.
What about a sumo?
I don't think you.
They
like
have
sumo
blade
wrestling.
arms.
We're going for in-depth realism with samurai.
You win the fight because the other person plunges their blade in you, but you're so fat that it can't.
You
get to
take their
anything vital.
blade and then you
Yeah.
eat them.
Yeah.
What if there's DLC to play as a U.S. Navy SEAL and you can just snipe from afar? Like, is it Indiana Jones where the guy has a sword and Indiana Jones pulls the gun out and shoots him?
But you're shooting a sword gun.
Yes,
Or a gun sword.
clearly.
It's sword gun.
Sword
It
gun.
is. It is a gun that shoots out a sword that you then grab, that then shoots out another sword.
That you then grab.
It's excessive and it takes a long time, so you might get your arm cut off.
But it looks awesome. So if you kill somebody with it, they're
Pirates.
shamed forever.
Pirates. Empty Vials says pirates.
God.
Pirates would be
yeah.
cool.
But they have
ninjas?
guns.
They have ninjas?
They got samurai. I mean,
But
they
ninjas
could
are
have
the sworn enemy of the samurai.
The best part is when you have to perform seppuku on yourself when you lose as a samurai. As
How
the
about a
last
ranger, like Legolas?
Like Walker.
Well, Legolas wasn't a ranger. Legolas was an elf, but
Elf?
like an arrow shooting person.
Legolas was an elf.
Elf, the classic 1980s
Hey, I have Legolas
television.
in my pocket.
Do you have Legolas in your pocket?
Is that a Legolas in your pocket, or are you happy to see
Do
me?
you really have Legolas in your pocket?
Somewhere.
Why are you calling him Legolas?
Legolas.
It's a privacy. He's going to his legs.
It's an ode to my father.
I don't.
Legolas?
What?
How do you have
Why?
Legolas in your pocket?
I feel like you carry this everywhere.
He fell out of my Lord of the Rings game when I was moving.
It looks like a macaroni noodle.
Hey, I've got that game.
Don't taste like.
It's not closed, and I don't have all the pieces.
So I'll be taking this one.
Yes, this is mine now.
No,
Viagra-
wait. That's not Legolas.
Hold on.
It's just a random ranger.
Viagra Po' Boy.
That's just an elven soldier. He's got the long bow.
Viagra Po' Boy just wants you to know that archer is the word you're looking for arrow shooting. and the leg loss.
Legolas.
Oh my gosh. I was very excited about the South Park game because
Oh, you mean diffraction?
Boom. because they were so adamant after Stick of Truth that they weren't gonna do another game. But then, essentially, they came out and they were like, "Look, by the end of it, we figured it out, and we make a lot of money doing this, so we're going to do another one." And it was just no filter, and it was exactly they are real life South Park characters. So,
Gosh, and I need to go play Stick of Truth now because that is the case.
because this is clearly going to build off of the
Yes.
in-depth storyline of the Stick of Truth.
Yes, it will.
So. Anything else from Ubisoft that you guys would like to mention? Let me see if I've got anything else. I don't think I have anything else for me. No, we talked about Dark Zones already.
good.
Unless you want to keep talking about Dark Zones.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, so your For Honor character gets to go into the dark zone. I don't know. I ran out. It could have been funny.
All right, let's move on to
One point.
the big ones here. Let's talk about.
Xbox.
We want to do Microsoft or Sony first?
Let's go with Sony.
What's your
It's
vote?
fine. Sony's fine.
Yeah, let's
whatever.
save the best for last.
All right, so Microsoft.
In
Let's
my
talk about
opinion.
Microsoft.
In my opinion.
I think Microsoft did do the best thing at the C3.
He's
Let's
gonna
talk
start
about
talking
Sony.
But I won't.
backwards
We'll talk about Sony first. It's
Okay,
fine.
okay. I was confused also as to what we were doing because I made the joke that we were saving the best for last. So let's talk about Microsoft. So, all right, let's talk about Sony. Again, this is the point where I'm going to reiterate. I'm no longer listening to Reddit because the sky was falling, according to Reddit, after PlayStation 4's thing. And I watched it, and I was engaged the entire time pretty much with it because I thought it was paced way, way better than last year, which
No, definitely.
the Order 1886 was paced better than last year's E3 presentation. But
I had
I
never.
was bored through most of it.
but you're also not a PlayStation guy.
It's true.
And you have nothing to look forward to.
I was surprisingly intrigued by The Last Guardian.
Yeah,
I didn't really have much interest in that beforehand, but even though it's very quiet, very lonesome, but Bird Dog.
Very the never-ending,
Which is awesome.
never-ending story.
Yeah. But I really liked kind of playing and speaking Japanese to that Bird Dog and kind of instructing him to go around and kind of help you out. Just that kind of the interaction between those two characters and how when you fall and he uses his mouth to grab you, or when he misses and you get to catch his tail.
All I could think about was how horrible his balls had to feel after that.
Testicles.
Is this a first party game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why aren't you
It's
riding
made by-
that thing the
made
whole
by
time?
Japan Studios. Huh?
Huh?
Why don't you just ride it the whole time?
He looks young and weak. Like he's not ready for that yet.
Oh.
This looks a lot like Shadow of the Colossus.
It's made by the same exact people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I thought Square Enix made Shadow of the Colossus.
And it's Square Enix.
Square
Seriously.
Enix.
We had an entire episode. It was basically all dedicated to teaching you how to say that company's name.
What, Square Enix?
Also, it looks like
Stop.
Bird
Stop.
Dog. The glasses are off, the shirt is off, the pants are off.
Pants have been off this time.
hey, what do you know? But also to answer to answer your thing, Larry, I don't think Bird Dog can fit onto some of those edifices.
What happened
Very
to
well.
your face? I'm legally blind in my left eye. Welcome. You now are as well. Episode 35, Larry Goes Blind.
It does look like Square Enix, though.
No, it doesn't.
It does not even a little bit.
I was so worried about this game because I was like, it was announced, 6-7 years ago and put it on the back burner, and a lot of people thought it was gone forever, and it came back, and I was like, when they bring it, are they going to be able to hold the attention of people? Like, are they going to get people excited? I'm still worried that like the hype for this game is going to be too high when it releases. Like, everyone talks about it. For E3 after E3 for Sony, it's like, are we going to see The Last Guardian? Are we going to see The Last Guardian? They finally delivered on it. People were hooping and hollering before the first frame even showed up on it when it was announced. And it was just like, are they going to be able to deliver an experience that is equal to the amount of hype that is coming behind this game? Because I'm excited about it. I became super intrigued by the trailer for it. And it was one of those, like, Sony knocked it out of the park in the first 10 minutes showing this game because so many people were excited about it. So many PlayStation people are excited about it. So, yeah, Last Guardian.
As someone who hadn't heard of it and wasn't excited for it, like, I don't know. I guess it's just not my type of game, but like the game did the trailer. What they showed did nothing to build any excitement for me. I actually wrote most boring opening to an E3 presentation ever.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those that kind of builds off of what they have previously made and understanding that they're kind of games that don't follow the rules of games, and so they don't want to show too much detail of what you're doing because they want to leave that up to you to discover when you're in the midst of it and when you're actually playing it. But the fact that it's like seeing a brother that you thought was dead for half a decade.
Did you love the brother?
Yes, you loved the brother.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you were like, I thought you died in a fiery side dish truck accident, Dizzy, and then he appears next week and we get really excited.
Zephyr says, "Wow, Larry, you must just hate fun and games."
He does.
I hate slow-paced things, and even if you're excited about this game, it is a very slow-paced game, I think.
Yeah, the game's about scale. Like it's about larger than life things, and in order for things to appear larger than life, you have to feel small at times, and so I can see that. It was slow and the world was big, and so yeah.
I like the art style though. That's neat. I'll give it that.
What else do we get from Sony that we thought was pretty cool?
One more negative thing, and then I won't say
That's
anything
fine.
negative for a while. They were like constantly begging for applause. It was real awkward.
But I could really only.
There's one clear instance of it, but then there were several where the speaker
near the
starts
beginning,
applause
near the
for
beginning, where the guy was like, "Yeah, that's a line right there."
them. Yeah, that was the worst instance.
Well, Reddit had set me up to think that nobody clapped, and he was like, "That's an applause line," telling them to clap. But the way that it happened was he said it. Some people in the audience started clapping. And it was like that awkward. It sounded like he was moving on to the next sentence, so people didn't want to interrupt him. And he said, "Yeah, you can applaud that line." That's what he said.
I didn't take it that way.
Anyway, yeah, and maybe that was my fanboy lenses on, but I thought it was going to be much more cringeworthy. I thought it was going to be complete silence, like him being like, "The Last Guardian." That was in applause line, guys. Come on, but it wasn't like that.
You're excited about this game.
You show your excitement right now.
We're gonna kill everybody in the crowd if you don't start applauding.
Because I am going to say some negative stuff about PS4. The conference as a whole, to me, was very solid, and I thought they announced stuff that people cared about. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I thought it was fractured butthole.
The Final Fantasy Remake
It looks good.
was a lot of people got excited about.
Yeah,
it.
everybody's pumped about
But
that.
it's
I
gonna
don't
be a
really- I
full
don't really
remake,
care about
and
Final
we know
Fantasy.
this now.
Yeah. We got to see more No Man's Sky.
That was interesting.
Thoughts on that?
Now I'm surprised you're interested in that, Larry, because that looks very slow paced in a lot of ways.
Yes. The freedom offsets it though. I was thinking, man. Unlike you, I think before I speak.
Yes.
And then I just walk out.
It's like you got caught in a corner. You're like,
Parts of it, but I feel like when that big machine comes and tries to gun you down, that's pretty fast paced.
Yeah, Well, it wasn't fast. He just kind of like gradually walked backwards.
And got into the water, and the machine was like, "Well, I'm not waterproof, so I'm out."
I don't want to electrocute myself, so I better.
It was like Dr. Robotnik, like when you're chasing him on
Mean
Sonic,
Bean
and he
Machine
gets
did make an appearance.
he gets flying backwards.
This huge world, though, like, just the scale of that thing is crazy. The fact that we have the technology to make something like that blows my mind. Cause Jessica was making fun of me because when he said, he zoomed out and said, "When I zoom out, I want you to realize that every one of these dots is a sun that is surrounded by worlds that you can go to." And he zooms out and keeps zooming and keeps zooming. You're like, "What?" And I said, I don't buy it." And he's like, "I'm just gonna pick a random one," and hopefully he really did pick a random one.
He had to have picked a random one because he was like, this one's all right.
Which one of these billions of dots should I click? And then I was like, "Oh, all right, I buy it. This is awesome. And I want it, but I'll never own it." And something kind of related to this, a couple weeks ago we talked about the first people who'd been put into the Game Hall of Fame. And we had this discussion about whether Minecraft deserved it or not. They didn't get it, but
Right.
But we're talking about when they might deserve it. And we talked a little bit about how when you deserve to be in a Hall of Fame when you not only accomplish something on your own right, but you are influencing others. And this game, and there's one other one, I can't remember, but I felt like they were kind of influenced by this Minecraft kind of thing. Of just, it's a game that's about exploring and nothing else really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like the couple moments, he only had 3 minutes, and he made a point to say that he only had 3 minutes. But he really glazed over one of the gameplay things in terms of like the factions. And he's like, "Yeah, you got these things, and if I want to engage, I'll join a faction. And all right, now onto the planet." I'm like, wait. Faction, like, how does that work? Because
I forgot about that.
Because we've known what the game is. Like we've known that it's this giant procedurally generated universe that there's going to be planets that people don't even explore that exist, and like it's just huge grand scale. We knew that. Like I didn't really need to see that again. If they wanted to show the map and zoom out and do all that, I didn't need them to land on a planet and show me how that works again, because we know that. But like if they'd have taken the time to explain the faction, to explain the gameplay. Zephyr says that there may be some sort of like a wanted level that, from what he's heard, that the more stars you have, the bigger robots come after you, and so. But they didn't highlight any of that, and what they needed to recognize after last year's E3, after PSX, is the question people have about this game is, what am I doing? And there is value to exploring and to discovering animals and to going to the beacon to report it back up so that you can kind of create this logbook of everything that you found. But game will get very, very boring if all I'm doing is landing on a planet, looking around for a little bit, then getting on my ship and finding a new planet.
You're trying to go to that galaxy, the far one. That's what I said.
Right. But how do I do that? How do I accomplish
You
that?
fly a ship, you dummy.
Thank you.
You big dummy.
And I know that you have to upgrade your ship in order to get to different distances. And so you're maybe trying to find like materials and stuff like that.
Yeah, he mentioned something about the point of exploring. Like you go to planets and you look for supplies to upgrade your person and to upgrade your ship and your weapons and stuff like that. So you're trying to get there faster. And I think that's probably where... I thought it was to the center of the galaxy or something like that you were trying to reach.
I don't know.
You're trying to reach a place.
And you spend all this time doing it, and the center of the galaxy is a black hole, and you just get sucked in and die.
Whoa!
And the first person that gets there actually triggers the destruction of the entire game. Like, he pushes his black hole to this tipping point where it consumes everything.
And he only gets he gets a new super universe that he's in, and everybody else is just destroyed. And he's the one person who can play No Man's Sky. Because no man can be in the sky anymore.
It's the ultimate in-game prize. Like, you want to beat this game first.
Dum. So, yeah.
Make it happen, Phil Spencer.
I wish you spent a little more time talking about factions, though, and how that functions in the game, because that was interesting to me.
And it looked like the space battles would be really fun to play.
Yeah.
I did like that, how destructible the environments were. Like, you just blow up whatever. That's neat.
How did they touch on any, like, how customizable your ship is and stuff?
I mean, you have to upgrade it and stuff.
No, so I guess it would be.
That comes cosmetically as well.
Well, I mean, like, more function-wise than cosmetics.
Yeah, there's stuff you got to get.
Now, he said the environment is fully destructible. Does that literally mean that I can blow up a whole planet? Because that would be cool. Like I just
become Darth Larry.
Aldrin.
they just refer to me as Larry, the Destroyer of Worlds.
Except you don't have a PlayStation, so none of this matters.
Yeah.
Yet,
Dumb.
Are you getting one?
no. If I
can
win
play
a lot
mine.
of money,
You can play My No Man's Sky.
all right. Oh,
At
my
my
name
house.
on PlayStation is. Did you hear about Pluto? So I can sign in, and I'll be. Did you hear about Pluto, the Destroyer of Worlds?
Because you destroyed it. You destroyed Pluto.
It's not
Fine,
relegated
Pluto.
anymore.
Pluto's Revenge. That's the name of my ship.
How would you wait? Pluto's not a planet, so how would you destroy it?
It was a planet. Now
yeah,
it's
they
a
didn't
moon.
say anything about moons. Didn't say anything about landing on moons or whatever it's called.
I don't care what any of you
That's what
say.
Pluto is.
Pluto's a planet.
That's messed up. All right, what else from Sony?
Uncharted.
Okay, let's talk about Uncharted. How'd you feel about it?
Action packed. That's a cinema machine right there.
So what?
That's a cinema machine.
Oh.
When he's like driving on that Jeep and you have to launch your grappling hook to latch onto the bridge and you kind of soar through and you like end up kind of brushing up against like hitting your shoulder. I'm sure that hurt Nathan a lot. But you like you bump into the little buoy thing, the wood and the. What did you think I said? It was just a machine?
No, I'll tell you later.
Okay, something nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think you've played like part of the first game
Yeah,
in Golden
yeah.
Abyss, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the collection now.
Right. Have either of you guys played Uncharted at all?
I played a little bit of the first one.
Okay, well I played all three of them and they're great. They're really like that's where The Last of Us got that its charm, like its cinematic storytelling, a kind of nuanced charm, just from this Indiana Jones-esque epic trilogy, and they're going to take it a step further with this game. It's going to be nuts. I'm ready for it.
One of the things I liked about the trailer is, just from the little bit I played of the first one, the thing I liked most about it was the lightheartedness of the characters and how they just kind of bantered back and forth with one another as you're playing.
that is one of the great things, but it's also, it can get very dark.
Well, yeah, and I was worried, and a lot of people were worried with what they showed at last year's E3, that this was going to be really dark, kind of have more of like a The Last of Us aesthetic to it, like environment to it, emotion to it, atmosphere. That's the word I'm looking for. And this trailer, this gameplay that they showed really showed to them that it showed the audience like these characters are still lighthearted and bantering.
That is not a bad word, Ben. Seminal.
That's not a bad word.
I live on Seminole Drive.
Not Seminole.
That's Seminole.
Yes, Seminole.
Like
You're right.
Like George Michael Seminole Classic.
Still not a bad word.
Anyway, the banter back and forth between Nate and Sully, it was like, okay, they've still got this charm about the characters going with
It's
them.
like a father-son, but like almost brother-brother relationship, like this kind of thing they've got going.
Almost
I
like a
understand.
look at-
I come from mountain people too.
Look at this dude jumping from building to building who's 100 years old.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's actually
I-
dead.
I got a little anxiety watching that trailer. I'm like, how do you know where to turn in this little village of people that you're running this Jeep through? And how did you not hit any of those small Somalian people? They weren't in Somalia. I don't know where they were.
Can you hit them? That's something the trailer did not answer for me.
Yeah,
Can
do
I
I
run
have to
over
do I have to
civilians?
honk my horn?
GTA style.
Can I
Mow
drive
them
real
down.
slow to make no noise and then speed up when a crowd of them comes along?
Oh, I guess that Jeep's out of the way. Oh no!
Here's Johnny.
I mean, this game looks it looks nuts, and I'm sure it will be nuts. It's gonna be worth the wait.
I'm at
Uncharted's
the-
always had a good like reception. So
I'm at the Moriarty point where I'm like, I don't want to see anymore. It's going to be good. Just let me play it.
Yeah.
And how about Horizon?
Woo, shooey! That's
That's-
a great looking piece of machinery.
Can we call it Terrakinator?
Terrakinator.
They are adamant that they are not dinosaurs.
I mean, they're really. They're not really. They're dinosaur-esque.
They look like robots, really.
They're robot.
They are.
dinosaurs.
People
Robot
are saying they're robot
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs. The company Gorilla's insistent that like they don't want them called
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
they're just machines.
Everyone's gonna still call them dinosaurs,
Yes.
but they're not.
Yes.
I mean, if you
Gorilla
look at them,
can suck it.
Suck it. But if you look at them, I mean, they're not really dinosaurs. They're dinosaur-esque.
There are robot
Like, they don't-
dinosaurs who shoot missiles that you're trying to kill
They
with bow and
don't.
arrows.
Like that is not a specific dinosaur right there.
Let me see it.
It's a Galapagos Rex.
It's a quadrupedal.
It's a Galapagos Rex.
That is not a specific dinosaur.
I think that's
Looks like a
bipedal. I think it
stegosaurus
only
to
has
me.
2 legs.
no,
dude.
no, no. That's the same thing that you fight in the
Oh, okay.
trailer.
Yeah.
Which was gameplay and it was awesome.
I just love that you get to play as Egret from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no kidding. But it's a really unique idea that's been done in part before in fiction. But I haven't really seen it in a game before that I can think of easily. Just that kind of thing. Like it's obviously post-apocalyptic, but it's almost Neolithic, but it's not because you have this technology that existed in the past and you have this technology that's all around you, but is a part of the past. It's not something that's really being worked on. It's like you're working with scraps.
I loved this twist on the post-apocalyptic.
They're referring to it as post-apocalyptic, which is really cool. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
Yeah, just like the cave paintings of the cities. It's a really neat juxtaposition of worlds. That's a good word.
It's something really cool. There's and I
like a
took
restart.
one of my favorite classes in college that I took was a post-apocalyptic fiction class, and there's this one from the 50s called oh god, what is it called? Oh god, it's huge. It's like one of the
Omega Man.
not Omega
Osop
Man.
Swabels.
I am
That
Legend.
is God, what is it? It had influences on The Last of Us. I can't believe that I can't think of this right now. It's sitting on a bookshelf at home. But basically, like, it's about a man who is immune to this disease that happens. And
I Am Legend.
not that, but that probably pulls from this song. Stop talking. But basically, like, it doesn't go this far, but like you start to see as this guy gets older and he becomes like the elder of this community that he forms. You start to see like the breakdown of language and stuff like that. Like he's trying to one of those guys that tries to keep like culture and stuff alive, kind of the past. And really, like, you get to, like, his kids start to grow up and they don't want to like learn about things. They want to take the Jeep out and hunt because that's all that matters. Like, they need to go off somewhere and find supplies. And eventually, like, if you think about it, language, like, eventually, like, you know, a couple of 100 years from the apocalypse, people aren't going to be speaking English anymore, or at least some broken down form of it.
Do you ever feel that way when you talk to teenagers?
Oh, absolutely. I feel that way talking to 40-year-old men around here. But
You feel like we talking to me.
I say to Ben, hey,
Misconstrued.
Seminole. But yeah, and this pulls from that a lot. I'm really impressed by it, actually seeing it in action, because you get that kind of breakdown back to like it's a deconstruction of civilization, but civilization is still present in the technology that's kind of used here and there. No, Earth abides. Yes.
All right,
That was it.
The Jastrum, you win this week.
Thanks, the Jastrum.
here is your prize.
What was his name? Ishmael?
I don't know,
Ishmael?
maybe.
They call him Ish, and there was in The Last of Us. It was really cool. There were letters in the sewer that you could find from a guy named Ish that was living in the sewers, or he was nicknamed Ish, and that was kind of like a little jab towards Earth abides. It was great.
That's kind of neat.
I'll let you
I
borrow
should
it
learn to
sometime.
read.
I should
Is,
learn to read more gooder.
What's it called? What is it called? The genre, like Pacific Rim and like what Rampage is, was just huge monsters.
Oh, it's a Japanese word.
Kaiju.
Kaiju, okay.
Dude,
Kaiju.
is there any kaiju fights in this game? That'd be really awesome. All these big things fighting each other.
It was kind of. It was
Yeah.
kind of. This wasn't a fight, but it almost kind of. It reminded me of that a little bit. Like when you got they look like rhinosauruses, but they're not. They're kind of like their necks are straight up.
Yeah.
You got a big
Which
dish
makes
on their
them
head.
way
Yeah,
different
yeah,
from
yeah.
a brontosaurus. So they're not a dinosaur.
They're actually called. Aren't they called apatosaurs now? Like back like 10 years ago,
I
they
don't-
changed their name.
I'm not up to date on
They
my
apparently had
dinosaur
feathers now.
technology.
But yeah, like you had the big one that you end up fighting that kind of like walk through, kind of like the the cock of the walk, and walk through. It's an expression.
It's not. It's not
The cock of the walk.
I feel like it is though.
It's dirty if I think it's dirty. It's like when I say satiate and you cringe. Satiate's not a bad word.
It's the context in which you
Well, I
use the
mean,
word
Just because
satiate.
Scotty McCreery has to satiate his desire for murder.
It's desires not the word you use.
Continue.
But I would not be surprised if this quadrupedal menace right here with the tail and the missiles and whatnot that you stab with a. By the way, how did that go and I get electrocuted stabbing this metal monster with a
It's made completely out of wood. The monster, that is. Electric wood.
Should get some of that. If it's electric, it would. I don't know.
Gosh,
It's
if they
electric.
have,
Dude,
if
you
they
don't
have, they've made wood conductive to electricity. They're so advanced.
What did I say? Was that last word a word?
Advanced.
We're talking about how the language breaks down.
Oh, anyway, this game looks awesome.
I like that everyone in the future has dreadlocks. I would grow
Well, you can't.
dreadlocks
There's no shampoo.
if I could get away with it, but I can't.
Gosh, everybody in the future really smells bad. I bet.
I always think about that.
That's the
Like,
thing about The Walking Dead. When I watch it with my father, and he's like you'll see Maggie and Glenn like making out, and I'm like,
well, I mean, every society before ours, like, not
You're
society, but
right,
era, like everybody stank.
But we've gotten used
"Girl,
to
you
people
stink.
not
Take a
stinking.
bath. Girl, you stink. Take a bath."
But then you'd get used to stinking.
But I mean,
I thought I
true.
never
but,
was.
but they were boning way early into this apocalypse. Like Shane and Lori. When's the last time
Yeah.
they had a bath when they did the deed?
Oh gosh, I can't even think about
This is a weird conversation. And then, because I'm about
Smells.
to make it even weirder, because then you can't go to the bathroom and clean up.
That's very true.
That's why the baby's not Rick's.
Remember that time we used to have a clean rating on this show?
It was a long, long time ago in a land where mech dinosaurs lived
time
on
ago.
All right, we got to move on. We're
Why?
taking up a ton of time.
This game's awesome. though.
This game is
Let's
awesome.
talk
It's
more
going to be
about
great.
it.
Kaiju.
Oh, I did want to mention this about it is the fact that Guerrilla's making it, and we were talking about this before the show about how like they already have something that's established and that is pretty well received. It's not like wildly successful by any means, but like Killzone is a game that is a staple on PlayStation platforms for Sony to allow them to go do something totally different and work on a game like this is really cool of them.
Yeah, bravo Sony.
It's very trusting of that studio. Killzone's always been a solid game, hasn't necessarily been like immersive or successful, like I said, but to let them move on to something else is really cool. But yeah, the Jastrum got butt bucks.
Oh my gosh.
That was a
That's
prank.
I'm glad someone. I still can't believe I couldn't think of the title of that because I love
Butt
that novel.
It's all right, man.
Would you like to borrow it?
I will never read it if I borrow it. We've
Okay.
learned this, right?
Yep.
Plus,
Right.
I just
Wait a
borrowed
minute.
that Batman thing.
What did you just say to Seth?
I'll read it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I got you.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna burn it.
Even if I don't read it, I'll return it. I don't have anything to return anymore.
I don't think
Because
so.
I lit it on fire.
Yeah, even if I don't read it, I'll reburn it.
I don't believe books should exist.
There's
Anyway.
somebody else that believed that too. His name was Adolf.
He wrote a book.
Mein Kampf.
Yeah, it's a book about camping, I think.
My struggle
He
is what it
sneezed at the end of it.
his
Okay,
sneeze was pretty big.
I want to talk about two things that are not game related. Well, one is game related, but it was missing. I was fully convinced they were going to spend 20, 25, 30 minutes on Morpheus, and they spent 2.5. And I was shocked by that.
Mhm.
This game is this platform, this peripheral is coming out in a little under a year. First half of 2016 is what they've been saying. This may have been their last E3 to generate hype about it, and they didn't talk about price. They didn't talk about release date. They just showed a couple games and said, "Hey, we got Morpheus coming along," and that goes hand in hand with the thing that they didn't talk about Vita. We didn't expect them to talk about Vita, but the reason you're not talking about Vita now is because you never talked about Vita before, and so you're going to take the same approach with Morpheus. Like we were on 3 Topic Thursday about a month ago talking about how you had PlayStation Move, you had PlayStation Vita, you have PlayStation TV. Like you have all of these different peripherals that exist that are solid peripherals, but you don't talk about them enough to get people interested in them. And so here comes Morpheus along, and here's the E3 before the year that it's going to release, and you spend 2.5 minutes talking about it.
Yeah.
And I understand that with VR, it's difficult to try to demonstrate in a large room what it's about, and they talked about people coming to the booth to experience it, but you've got to give us details that are going to get us excited about it. At least let us know how much we're going to have to pay for it.
And it was an especially dangerous approach with Microsoft having their partnership with Oculus and the HoloLens stuff going on, because now that's hyped, and now PlayStation's thing is not hyped.
And I feel like there may be a little bit of them looking at Microsoft saying, "Oh, they got Oculus. They're doing HoloLens. These are two things that are established." Well, Oculus is established, and HoloLens is just totally off the charts different from this. And so maybe they're jumping ship before it even gets started. And this was them maybe backing off of it a little bit.
Ooh, hope not.
I hope
I'd like
not
to
either.
see plenty of competition in that realm so that they will drive each other.
But yeah,
I like the conversation we had before, though. I feel like AR is going to be much more useful in VR. But
yeah. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to Microsoft's stuff more. But yeah, I think AR is going to have much more practical application than VR. And the fact that with a lot of the Morpheus stuff, you're going to have move as well. Like, that's an odd thing. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to save Sony to the end just for this point, because I know you're going to talk about backwards compatibility with Xbox and how it was monumental. And that, not monumental, it was big. It was important. And it's going to kind of drive, I hope it drives Sony to respond to it somehow. But I think that what's going to have more impact, not just in the gaming world, but in, media in general, is PlayStation Vue offering a la carte channels. Like that's going to resonate throughout the entertainment industry, and hopefully set a standard for the way that people pay for cable and pay for television. I read an article about how cable companies spent so long denying that people were cutting the cord to go to Netflix that now it's going to be impossible for them to make it up. And hopefully on the heels of that information, they're going to look at PlayStation Vue allowing you to say, I only watch these 3 channels, so I'm only going to pay for these 3 channels, and not make that same mistake and say, we're going to reevaluate how we do packages. I think that's going to have more of a much broader impact than just backwards compatibility. I think backwards compatibility is huge, and it's huge from a gaming standpoint, which is what E3 is about. But this is much more sweeping to me.
So I didn't watch that part of the conference. So you're telling me, just to elaborate, that if I just want to use AMC and the CW,
that's all you got to pay for.
That's all I got to pay.
CW is an over-the-air channel.
All right, well then AMC and like maybe HBO.
Yep, you'll be able to just
which
pay
you
for
can
that
do by itself now, but I like it.
Yeah, HBO Go.
Yeah, they have HBO. I think it's called HBO Now with the standalone service, right?
Mm.
So, and I don't want to take away from what Microsoft's doing. I just wanted to bring that up, that I thought that was very, very important. So,
I agree.
anything else from Sony you guys want to bring up?
It was weird that I was. I'm not a fanboy, but it was weird that I was more impressed with Microsoft's than Sony's.
Huh?
I'm not a fanboy, but usually I'm more impressed with Sony's than Microsoft's. But it was.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
This year.
That's
what
going to be the last thing we talk about.
Whoops, sorry.
So,
sorry.
All right, well, let's move on to Microsoft. And Larry,
Yes.
what did you take from Microsoft?
HoloLens. That junk was awesome.
It was very impressive junk.
If you didn't get to see that junk, it was the thing we talked about plenty of times. He was projecting a screen onto his wall that no one else could see to play Minecraft, which just has so many applications. I wonder if you can just not even own a TV, just project your Xbox to your wall all the time.
That would be great.
If you want. Yeah.
It wouldn't be great. I still would I'd rather play on a TV than
No.
Like when I go to move and I decide I hate all my stuff, I just chuck my TV out the window because I don't need it because I got HoloLens.
Well, just think about you don't have to go buy a big TV.
But then when I completely lost my mind was when he looked down. He was playing Minecraft and he looks down at this table and his world springs up on this table and he can see his little friend running around in it and he's highlighting resources. But the craziest thing, in even that, was the thing detects where his gaze is and he says lightning strike and lightning hits the point where he's looking. How is it that precise? Imagine the applications in other games.
Yeah.
Bring this into the shooter genre.
Because seriously, you are so much I'm right there with you, Larry. That's so good.
Man, this thing's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see what they do with it with the games besides Minecraft, but even Minecraft looks amazing.
Did they talk price point on that at all?
I don't think
No.
so.
Not yet. Okay.
No, they didn't. The cool thing about HoloLens, two things. First of all, it's self-contained, so it's all like you're wearing the computer. Like it's not. There's not going to be wires having to run to your Xbox. So, how cool would it be if that's the way that you get your co-op experiences from now on?
I'd be totally cool with that.
And I feel and that's because then it's not taking up the resources from your Xbox One because it's all being processed on your headset. And with Windows 10, I think that's going to be entirely possible. And then the second thing, I don't remember what it is, but yes. Oh, is the practical application that this has. The fact that it is going to be a computer you're wearing on your head means that this is not just video games. Like they obviously showed video games during Microsoft's thing, but like the idea of being walked through how to fix a pipe in your plumbing or being able to project those sorts of things, it's going to be good stuff.
Learn how to play your guitar.
Yes.
Bam, 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 bam.
All of that's. I'm just so drive with it in your car. It's GPS, tells you where to turn.
And they get real creeped out thinking about the military application. I want a missile there and a missile there and a missile there.
You get a missile. You get a missile. Zephyr says, was that real, though, with the Minecraft? There's been comments made to suggest not all of it was real. That's understandable because you obviously aren't able to see exactly what they're seeing in their headset. And so they had to somehow... I thought they did a good job of demoing what it would kind of feel like. He
explained it, like I took it as the camera had been outfitted with some HoloLens type thing. And that one camera, because the other camera, you couldn't see it on the table. And if it wasn't real, then Microsoft lied to us, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Jamie ZG says, although I'm a Sony guy, it's clear Morpheus is more likely to flop. HoloLens has so many more applications. I absolutely, and I think we talked about this either on this show or on 3 Topic Thursday about how Microsoft stumbled with Kinect because they wanted it to be something that was applicable to all sorts of arenas of life and not just video games, but they made this push first and foremost that it was a video game peripheral. I don't think they're going to make that same mistake with HoloLens. And Sony's just terrible about supporting and marketing their stuff. Like, there are people who have no idea what PlayStation TV is, and yet it's on store shelves nationwide.
Right.
And that's Sony's issue with this. Microsoft understands how to push these peripherals. Kinect was one of the most quickly adopted extra peripherals of a video game console ever, and it's because Microsoft understands this stuff. It wasn't supported very well after the fact, but regardless, so.
Well, they are definitely a hype machine, Microsoft. So.
What else we got here? What else from Microsoft?
Halo.
The big thing. But I'll wait.
Okay,
Halo.
you go to Halo.
I'd like to talk about Halo for a minute.
All right.
Wowie. I really liked. I didn't see the HoloLens. Didn't they do something with Halo and HoloLens? Or was that on the game floor? People were talking about it. Okay. Well, anyway, back to when you play as Spartan Locke and his squad, which is confirming that you're actually going to be playing the kind of dual thing. That was the first really big confirmation of that, right? Seeing this.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it a lot. I didn't realize that Spartan Locke was that guy from Nightfall.
His name in Nightfall is Locke.
I didn't realize. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. The awesome black man.
He is.
I agree.
That's what he's credited as. Isn't
Right.
it?
Awesome black guy.
Played by Samuel L. Jackson.
But yeah, it just looked awesome. I was just blown away, not only by that, but like because that was assumed beforehand that you're going to be able to play as Spartan Locke and these other people. I was really impressed by just how cinematic the gameplay was. Halo 4 was kind of pointing in that direction after 343 took over. Halo's always been kind of a cinematic franchise according to where it is in video game history and what the graphics can do and all that. But as you're walking and kind of like casually strolling carefully through this little area wherever you are, and there are Covenant warships out in the distance that are blowing up and taking damage as you're moving. I thought it was great how they had the kind of co-op action where you could kind of command someone to do something. You like tell Buck to go and take out this little ship that comes and starts rapid firing on everybody. and he just goes and takes it out. You just point him in the direction. It looks very smooth, which we played the multiplayer beta, which was very smooth, very fast paced. I'm really excited.
Now, I have two things. One, is Buck a Spartan now?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope they explain how that came about.
It probably will.
'Cause he was an ODST trooper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And second, it's real weird for me to say this, but I was actually underwhelmed by the Halo stuff.
No.
I feel like they showed us the gameplay of like the very first part of the game where you're just trying to learn the controls. They hope like you're the one person on the planet who hasn't ever played a Halo game, so here's how you play it. And it was just slow paced and just I don't know. I would have liked to. I feel like I did not get to see how the gameplay is actually going to go.
Right.
Like the first couple minutes were just slowly walking through. Let's see if Master Chief's been here.
Yeah. You go look over there.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, sorry. Remember,
So-
this is also an audio
yeah.
podcast.
I'm kidding. Let's go. Move on.
I'm with you, though, Larry. Like, the two things I was most excited about were the two things I was most underwhelmed by was Halo and Gears. I thought they were both very slow-paced, very kind of dull, and left much to be desired.
Much to desire.
And I'm trying. I don't know if, like, my view may be tainted by how angry I am that there's no split screen in Halo 5. And if this is your first time hearing that there's no split screen in Halo 5, pause the podcast right now and send an angry tweet to 343.
Or
Resume.
Bungie, whichever you want.
Or Phil Jackson.
Let's just flood Bungie with messages about how
The new Halo sucks.
You should tweet Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
Who's Phil Jackson?
he runs the New York Knicks.
He's like, what is Halo 5?
What is Twitter?
Why is my phone giving me these notifications?
I'm excited about Halo still, but this did nothing to move the needle for me.
This just seemed like an introduction to kind of that squad-based gameplay, which I appreciated, because we didn't really know anything about that before. And if it was fast-paced, if you were like in mid-battle, I don't really think it would have taken like people on Reddit going back and like slowing down things and then having to go and look into it. So really, this was just like, I'm glad it was slow-paced almost, because you got to see like, hey, Buck, go take care of this over here. Whatever your name is, lady.
Tanaka.
Do this over here. Tanaka.
I think it really
Miss
is her last
Piggy, go
name.
do this over here.
Something like that.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes slow is good. Because this game is very fast-paced. We know that from the multiplayer beta.
It's true.
And it's going to take some getting used to and kind of like learning how to watch and see things play out as to where, before we can jump in and like be running around and jetpacking and sprinting and commanding people at the same time. I mean, you're going to be all over that controller like white on rice on a paper plate in a snowstorm.
Coco Master 209 wants to know, what do you think about Master Chief's butt?
One T. Singular T.
It's kind of hard to tell under the I've analyzed my action figure many times, and he's got that. The Spartans have that little pad right there, so it's kind of hard to get a good look at the tuchus.
Yeah.
I love that word.
My
You're
question.
looking at Deep Blue Sea posters on your computer.
I flip between tabs right now. I'm trying to get
Go back.
Deep Blue Sea.
It says Deep Blue.
It's what's leaving Netflix
that
forever.
was on Netflix.
Yeah,
Was
but
it?
I didn't know.
Oh my gosh, that is the greatest Samuel L. Jackson scene of all time.
Where the shark comes in.
Spoiler alert.
I flipped to the wrong tab. Okay, jerk.
Oh man,
So
Empty
I-
Vials wants us to know that he's going to bring us to the shower with him. He's all hot and sweaty from mowing, and so he figures it's the perfect place to listen to us.
Cool.
I'm ready to get wet.
Oh my god.
All right,
Halo 5.
Halo
I
5.
had something to say. What was it? Oh, I know this is really minor, but I've always been really disappointed when you have co-op, which this time it won't be split screen if you didn't know. But when you have co-op, you don't get to pick which person you are. And I want to be Buck all the time. Is it going to just be determined by who joins in what
You
order?
can just
or
start
can you
dropping
pick?
out and
Yeah,
switching around.
I'm going to need you guys to drop out.
You just
so I'm
want to
Buck.
be. You just want to be
it's
Mal Reynolds.
It's gonna take
Yeah.
the longest time.
It's going to take us an hour and a half just to get ready to do the mission.
because I'm
Larry,
not
you're
backing
buying
out.
the game. You
Teague?
already told me you're not buying the game.
I can rent it for the story though.
Oh, classic.
Redbox does rentals, right?
Yeah, good luck finding Halo 5 in a Redbox anywhere.
Oh, fine, I'll buy it. Anyway, one other thing, Warzone.
Warzone, tell us about it, baby.
It looked cool. Neat game type.
Oh, little neato.
That's what it was called, right?
Yeah, Warzone.
A neat
where you've
game type, yeah.
It's got almost like firefight and competitive
Yeah.
multiplayer, all in one big fat package.
It sounded like some Marines were talking too, and I wonder if you can kill the other team's Marines. That'd be fun.
Probably won't be hard, though.
Dude, you ever killed enough Marines in the campaign?
Where the Guardians come and get you?
No.
The Marines come after you.
Oh, that's right.
All of a sudden you're like, what the crap? When did you guys learn how to fight? Why can't you freaking do that when I'm playing with you?
Everything they have like golden guns. Everything they do is one shot.
Yeah.
All right, what else from Microsoft? If we're done with Halo.
Okay,
Go ahead, Ben.
I've got another minor thing.
go ahead, do your
you
minor
want
thing.
the-
Yeah, do your minor
Are
thing.
you trying to save the best for
Well,
last?
Nah, because
I'll do my thing.
I've
It's
got
cool.
some lists.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Because this is not going to be that big of a thing. I'm just really excited about it. They are doing backwards compatibility for Xbox One. The 360 games you're going to be able to play. I've got a whole library that I haven't even started playing because I can't boot my I can boot my 360 up, but it's in my bedroom, and I don't want to go play video games in my bedroom.
Let's be honest,
Yes.
and let's paint the picture how it really is. It's select Xbox 360 games. The developers and publishers who decide that they would like their games to be backwards compatible with the Xbox One will be able to do it. So
Everything I own should be.
that's not even remotely guaranteed.
How do you quantify that?
Because everything I have is like greatest hit stuff.
But that doesn't matter either. But think
Yeah.
about like if a game is going to put out a remaster of it, they are going to opt out.
True.
Like you got the Mass Effect games for Xbox; those are more than likely going to come in a remastered package.
True.
Wait, the first Mass Effect is confirmed already. That's a bad example. But regardless,
Yes.
but what's cool is like the games that are going to come with like Rainbow Six Siege is going to come with Vegas and Vegas 2 for you to be able to play.
By Zephyr.
See you, Zephyr.
Good night.
So that's really cool to me.
It just excites me that
Oh no,
they're
I don't
taking
want to. I don't want to rain on your parade. I just wanted to paint a realistic picture that it's not just pop whatever 360 game you got.
It's also not $20 a month, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Although the
Let-
streaming is pretty neat. I mean,
Let's talk about that for a second because it was a complete taking a dump on Sony when they were like, "And we're not going to make you pay for games that you already own."
yeah.
Do you see Sony? What do you think Sony's move to that is going to be if there is going to be a move to that?
I don't think there's going to be a move.
I
'Cause
don't either.
They have their service that they're doing. I mean, they're not going to lose money on that.
I think the only option that they have is to say, if you have an Uncharted disc, you like Uncharted 2, you can pop it in and you can stream it for free off of PlayStation Now if you have the disc. So it's not running natively on your console. You're still streaming it from their PS3s on servers somewhere, but it unlocks it. And they can do that because like with Battlefield 4, if you own the PS3 edition, you could pay $10 for the code that would unlock it.
Yeah.
And so it can read PlayStation 3 discs.
That would be cool.
So you just won't be able to play it directly off of the system. That's the only counter I can see them making for it. What's up, Donneil122? Hit that follow button, buddy.
That would be pretty cool if they did that.
So,
Yeah.
but I think it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm a preview member, so I need to look at the list of, I think there's like 12, 15 games that I can play backwards compatible, and just test it out, see how it works, let you guys know. The best part about it is you can play multiplayer with 360 people on it.
That's really cool, too, yeah.
If Halo Reach winds up being backwards compatible, we need to go play that. Did we ever play that one together? I don't think we
I
did.
didn't know you at that time.
That is my favorite multiplayer of Halo
Dang.
ever.
I have it
Those are
digitally, so I'm hoping that I can access it if they don't bring it on the Master Chief Collection at some point.
We also need to rock ODST.
We do.
And
I
Destiny.
already did that.
But you can't do that with us. We can do it again. It's all right. I think I'm with Larry on that. It's one of my favorite campaigns. I think it is your favorite.
I
No,
did go
not
back and play
campaign.
that actually like
Oh,
a week
yes,
ago.
yeah,
and,
you're right, you're right,
I
you're
really,
right.
I really dug it more than I did the first time.
Yeah.
Nice little soundtrack to it too.
Yeah,
Little
it's like
jazz.
jazzy.
Yeah.
Jazz is an
It started reaching a climax, and it's like. I can keep going.
Some scat going on there.
You ever seen
Scat.
Cosby Bebop?
Huh?
Cosby Bebop.
Cosby
no,
Bebop.
no, haven't.
You ever seen the
drunk?
show Cowboy Bebop?
Yes.
Okay, the opening song, someone took it and just put
Okay,
Bill Cosby
yeah,
quotes in it. It's great.
You had a minor thing you wanted to talk about.
Yes,
We were
Rare.
apparently Microsoft fanboys.
That Rare collection made me real excited. All those games, that's fun. But then also, I don't know how excited you guys are about this, but I really love pirates. So this open world, this shared world pirate game, that was really interesting to me. I'd like to take to the high seas with you and just run people through.
Mm.
Oh, this guy called us Microsoft fanboys.
Because we stayed in line.
Because we've been talking about Microsoft, in the segment about Microsoft.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let's see. We spent
like half an hour on Sony.
half an hour on Sony, and we have been in Microsoft for 10 minutes. So you, sir, can suck it.
Oh, man. Anyway, and I'm about to argue here in a few moments that I like Sony's presentation better.
So once again, you, sir, can suck it.
Suck it.
Suck it.
I'm sorry. Rare collection.
Pirates. Pirate
Pirates.
game.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. It's in my notes that I
Rare?
left. No, not the Rare collection. Rare made this pirate game. It's not
Oh,
part of the
yeah,
collection.
yeah. That's right. I thought you were talking about the Rare
Devil
collection.
Dogs. No, wait.
I'm trying to think of what it is too. Because I played a lot of Rare games.
We'll just call it the Rare pirate game. That's acceptable.
Okay, sure.
RPG.
Here, I'll Google it.
RPG.
Hold on.
We have the technology.
I have
Sea of
something
Thieves.
for you.
Sea of Thieves, that's the one. It ended with some dude just running his boat through another dude's boat, and I just want to kill
Is that a
people.
metaphor?
Probably.
Just go play Black Flag until then.
Which is going to be the Games with Gold game for next month.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
They're moving on. They're moving to 2 games a month without the carryover.
They're gonna be like
Maybe two.
Assassin's Creed Pool Nation FX is the games with gold for them.
I was gonna do that while you look
Copyright.
up stuff. Oh, that's right. I forgot we can't do that.
Trying to
so.
get us.
Trying to get this whole thing muted when I go to export it to YouTube. I'm going to kill you.
I keep forgetting that you can't do stuff copyrighted.
What was I going to say? I don't know if people liked our rant there. It's okay though.
Oh, did he get out?
Oh, I don't know. I don't care.
You don't like my mall. You can get out of my mall.
I wanted to talk about Cuphead for a minute.
That's an excellent thing to discuss.
That game looks awesome. I love like the old Tex Avery cartoons and like that 40s style of cartoons. And the fact that they're making an entire game based in that is really, really cool to me. And I cannot wait to play that game. I don't even. All I know is that it looks awesome. Like that's all I care about. Is it a level platformer? Is that basically what it is?
It looks like it, and I was surprised that it also seemed to have elements of like Metal Slug or Contra, where like it was like nonstop shooting.
Yeah. So because you're throwing the stuff, right? Yeah.
Well, they were even shooting with finger guns.
That's right. That's
which
right.
Can get you suspended, kids.
Yeah. Don't do that. We don't promote violence except towards one another.
Right.
On Player 3 Podcast.
And towards people in the dark zone in the division.
When we lead our Player 3 Podcast army into the dark zone to destroy everyone. We're going to get banned from the division. Let's get banned from the division, guys.
They're like,
I
all
don't
right,
wanna
we
do
didn't
that.
say you couldn't do this, but you've taken it way too far.
You have 160 people on your server. Oh, anyway. Anything else, Microsoft, you guys want to discuss? What about the structure? What about the flow? What do you guys think about the way that they did it?
I'm ambivalent.
Ambivalent? That's a good word.
Yes.
Ambivalent is
I
a
don't
good
understand it, but it's a great word.
word. Ambivalent's a good word. What does it mean?
Seminal.
I bit and pieced the Microsoft, so I didn't get
Yeah,
the
I
flow
kind
of
of did the same
Microsoft.
thing, very disjointed.
Yeah.
The way I watched it, not that it was.
I think they finally got the whole like games. They talked a little bit about EA Access, but even within that, they talked about how they're bringing how Titanfall's available and that they're bringing Dragon Age Inquisition into it. And it's like, this is it's such good value. $30 a year for those Vault of games, especially if you're like only sort of into sports games and you don't mind playing last year's versions. Like, so even in the talk about their services, their services were about games
Mm-hmm.
and exciting news for gamers, and that's something that Sony doesn't do well. Sometimes they go and they like deviate from games in their E3 presentation, and they lose people within it. So anyway, what was I gonna say? I was reading this response here, but anyway, anything else about Microsoft?
Recore, I'm fascinated by it.
Trying to remember what that was.
Where the dog blows up and then she takes his ball and puts it
That's
in
right. Yes.
And like the trailer looked okay, and I'm excited to see more about it, mainly because it's made by the people who made Metroid Prime, and that game was amazing.
And we got a true Metroid Prime sequel in the Nintendo. I'm just kidding. We didn't. That was
Nobody can see you.
Excuse me while I mate with this wall.
Larry walked out of the non-existent door on this side of the room. Oh. That's pretty funny.
Thanks, Gary.
He hadn't.
I died, you guys.
Oh gosh, he's just laying over there with hot coffee all over. Oh, okay. Let's move on to the E3 predictions winner here. Let's see. I'm just going to go through here. Larry said we will see HoloLens in action. We got that. Left 4 Dead 3 announcement. Nope. Nintendo announces relevant console with excellent graphics. Nope. Mirror's Edge 2 gameplay in spring 2016 release date. Yep, we got that. First glimpse of Telltale Marvel game. Did not get that. So you've got 2. I didn't get any. Project Morpheus launch date in first half of 2016 and a price drop and a price of $249. Didn't get that. Uncharted 1 through 3 remastered. They available within the month. They announced that before, and it's not available till October. Xbox Slim to release alongside Halo 5. Didn't do that. EA to release new Toys to Life game. Nope. Microsoft announced new pricing model for digital release. No. Seth, Evil Within 2 trailer. No. Fallout 4 announced before. Next Rockstar title. No. Injustice 2 tease. No. Didn't see anything from the Bloodborne DLC. It was announced before. So you got
0.
We gave him half a point for one.
You got half a point
For
for
Bloodborne, right?
for Bloodborne. Yes. So then Ben, Microsoft announces new Minecraft animated series. They did announce that. I'm just kidding. They didn't. Special Star Wars console. No, they did not for PS4. Pokemon remake. No. Elder Scrolls $200 paid DLC. No. Release date for The Division announced in beta. You did get that, so you got 1. So 1 0 0. 1 half 0.
I
2.
just noticed Ben said the Star Wars console is a Rebel and Republic theme. Those are the same thing.
Huh?
The Republic is
It's Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to put Empire.
the Rebels want the Republic. That's okay though.
That's all right. You still got 1. You got half. I got 0.
Yeah, so
but
you
Larry,
kicked my
for the
butt.
first time ever, wins a
I-
milkshake bet.
Always lose the milkshake bets.
So you can then now redeem your milkshake upon request.
We need to play poker for
We will
milkshake
not
bets.
deliver it to Chatham,
Ben, go get me a milkshake.
and it has to be during the half price milkshake hour,
True. I don't know what time.
which
it
is after 8.
Yeah.
So,
I guess I'm gonna have to hang out till 8.
so congrats, Larry. We're probably going to
Thanks.
do the rounds, so we got that going for us.
You want all of your milkshakes now?
No.
We should all get you different milkshakes, and then we get a big cup and put them all in this big cup, and then you drink them.
No.
That's what we're gonna do. There's no parameters to this, so we're gonna all buy your milkshakes at one time.
Regulator 52 says, can't believe we didn't see anything from Rockstar. Rockstar doesn't really do E3. It costs a lot of money, and they don't need to do E3 because they can just announce stuff and people get excited about it without them having to spend the money to get on stage there. So, anyway, all right. The last question that I want, after you guys watched at least parts of everybody's, but really it's between Microsoft and Sony.
Is it?
Huh? Well, it doesn't have...
Okay.
Well, let's do between Microsoft and Sony, and then just as a whole. Who do you think had the best presentation, and why was it Nintendo? Anyway, go ahead. Best presentation between Microsoft and Sony.
I liked Microsoft the best, and I admit that part of it is I'm the only one at this table who probably could be considered a Microsoft fanboy. I still like to think that I'm pretty balanced, but I'm not into a lot of the very, very Japanese type games like Final Fantasy and all that. So most of PlayStation's conference was not me. Like, it was stuff I didn't care about.
Wasn't for
I
Larry.
wasn't interested in, and so I was bored by it. I understand that not everyone was, but in my mind, Microsoft won. And also, like, they had the View thing, which is awesome, and I'm really glad to hear that, and I hope it just destroys cable companies. But I think between HoloLens, and what was the other big thing? Oh, backwards compatibility. I think Microsoft got it.
Larry, can I? Oh, no, go ahead.
What were you going to respond to him?
Well, I was going to completely agree with him.
Oh,
You go ahead. Okay. I had no extra points to make on his point. He made every point I was going to make.
I know the internet like exploded over Microsoft, and for good reasons. Like the backwards compatibility thing is huge, and HoloLens is going to be huge. But we still don't know how much it's going to cost to be an adopter of HoloLens, which is a big deal. And we only saw one experience on it, and that's Minecraft. Like, I like Minecraft, but Minecraft isn't enough to get me to buy HoloLens. Like, I'm going to need to see it in action and other... I would use HoloLens for gaming. I'm not going to use it really for much anything else, probably. So I want to see how it's used in other arenas. But the two biggest IPs that Microsoft has are Halo and Gears, and they spent 20, 25 minutes on the two of them, and it was 25 minutes of a complete snooze fest for me. The Gears thing was so dark and slow, and it just looked like Gears. Like they could have given me what they gave me in the 10 minutes they took to show it in 2 minutes, and I'd have been fine. Like, and so that docked points for me. I thought Sony. A lot of people talked about the middle of it being really, really boring, but I in the middle we had No Man's Sky. They talked about View. I was really excited about the a la carte option just for the implications it had in entertainment as a whole. And they deviated from games there, which is marks off for me. But between The Last Guardian and Uncharted 4 froze, and they had to restart it. But what we saw of Uncharted 4 was great. No Man's Sky was great. Horizon blew my mind. Like that game's going to be awesome. Final Fantasy VII was a big deal to a lot of people. Like, I don't think it was as clear cut for Microsoft, and Microsoft kind of lost me in the beginning and the end, and a little bit in the middle of it too. And so, for me personally, and knowing I'm a Sony fanboy, also, Sony's was more engaging to me.
Okay. I want to say Sony because all of the games that they, not all of them, but the majority of the games that they announced or previewed are ones that I want very badly. But Microsoft, I think, had the advantage on them because everything that Sony announced is coming out next year, and there's time for it to change, and it's not going to be exactly what we saw if we saw gameplay footage from it at all. And plus, The Last Guardian they can announce for 2016. Everything else they can announce for 2016 all they want to. It could be 2018 before it comes out. It could be a Watchdog syndrome. Yeah. I am excited. I was more excited by Microsoft's, in all honesty, and I am myself a PlayStation fanboy. But Halo, Gears is early 2016, right? Yeah. Okay, but Halo...
Holiday 2016.
Holiday 2016. Okay, but the Gears collection is this year, right?
No, that is spring of 2016.
Spring 2016. Okay, but either way, Microsoft announced more that is coming out in the very near future, and I just got much more hyped about a lot of that. I would say Microsoft myself.
The Jastrom says he's excited about Rise of the Tomb Raider because it's an Xbox exclusive. And honestly, that's one of the things that frustrated me about that segment of it is everyone knows it's timed exclusive. Like, there's not a question that people have that it's a timed exclusive. But yet they keep trying to talk like it is and market it like it's only on Xbox, when really it's first on Xbox. But anyway.
You made the point before, though, that the reason they do that isn't for the people that know, it's for the parents that don't know.
Right. I don't think you announce a release date, but like everything else that is timed exclusive on Xbox, they're like first on Xbox. Play first on Xbox. Same with Sony. Another thing with Sony, let me jump back into this, that was huge that we didn't mention, is the marketing partnership they now have with Call of Duty. And I know that we all, the majority of us in this room are kind of fatigued by Call of Duty, but there's still 20 million people that play that game, 30 million people that play that game. And for that market to flip, and we were listening to Beyond in the car on the way back from vacation. My wife was like, do people really get upset about that sort of stuff? Because they were talking about how Microsoft people are mad. And it's like, and I'm like, yeah, because there are people who own consoles simply to play Call of Duty. And they bought the Xbox because that's the place to play. You get DLC first, you get all kinds of exclusive stuff, and now that's flipped after just a couple years, a couple iterations of Call of Duty to PlayStation. And so that's going to upset people. I think it was a big get for Sony to be able to do that. And I'm not a big timed exclusive guy, but if it's going to exist, it's good to own it. And that was a big deal for them.
Can I get one last thing off my chest while we're going backward?
Yes.
I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed that we didn't see more mirrors. I was really disappointed that we didn't see anything about Kingdom Hearts. I thought it's been a couple years. We're finally going to see some more. And now I'm like, I don't even believe that's a real game. It's all a lie.
Half-Life 3 came out though.
Oh man.
Can I interject? Are you
Just
continuing at this point?
You're fine.
I just don't. I want to bring another. Do you think Sony and Microsoft? What was your favorite presentation? Period. Not including Sony and Microsoft.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to that.
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted you to answer.
I completely agree with
okay.
Larry in the Microsoft
All
point.
right.
I mean, there's not really anything I can add to it. I like I like Sony's. It was fine what I watched of it, but there's just so many more things that I got hyped about for Microsoft's than Sony's.
All right. What do you think out of all of them was the strongest?
Out of all the conferences?
Yeah.
Or they're not conferences. What's
Presentations.
Yeah, the conference presentation.
Okay. I don't think I really ought to have an opinion since I didn't see most of them. But
Of what you watched, though. What did you watch, first of all?
all I saw was Sony, Microsoft, and EA. And I'm still going to go with Microsoft out of those three. I wasn't terribly impressed by what I saw of EA.
Yeah. I watched all but the last, 20 minutes of Ubisoft. I just ran out of time. Bethesda's was so good, man. They only had a few games to talk about, but what they showed was just great, and it flowed well, and everything they showed about Fallout made everyone forget about everything else. So Bethesda for me.
I think Ubisoft, whatever they're called. Aisha Tyler just has a great stage presence. And they have a lot of really engaging people get up and speak, between Beardo doing For Honor and Matt and Trey from South Park. I was just all in all, it was a lot of fun to watch, and back to Sony, it wasn't just a bunch of guys in suits, standing up and talking, and Shuhei Yoshida's cute little Japanese face getting up there. And
I am very excited. All right.
I'm gonna have to say Nintendo. No, I'm with you, Luke. Bethesda was my favorite. Now, keep in mind, I watched bits and pieces of or PlayStation, Ubisoft, and Xbox, and I watched all of Bethesda. But I am very much a Bethesda fanboy. I wouldn't say that I'm either console fanboy. I like both, but I mean, I got PlayStation when it first came out. I got the Xbox later, but Bethesda, I will buy a game that they put out. Like if it's a Bethesda game, I probably have owned it, played it, or I will own it. And I think they just did an excellent job of, like you said, the flow was great. I could listen to that Todd guy all day long. I mean, he was just really, really awesome. It was good. It was just really good.
All right. Last thing, go around the circle. Well, we all kind of consensusly say Fallout 4 was game of the show.
Yes.
probably.
And if not, that's fine. But for those of us that probably would, let's say, taking Fallout 4 out of the picture, what was your game of the show? Just whoever.
I would agree with you on Fallout 4.
All right,
first
so-
off, now
so-
that I've evaluated it.
So let's take Fallout 4 out because we all consensusly agree that was game of the show.
I was so positive it was going to be Halo, and they just showed so little of it. I'm trying to think. Let me think a minute.
I'll give mine. I think the Division, what they showed of the Dark Zone, and the way that they worked it, that was my game of the show. Was like that. They showed me just about everything I wanted to know. I still want to know about gun customization, but outside of that, I'm like, yep, that's it. I'm almost to the point where I don't want to see anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take the easy route and say it's between The Last Guardian and the Final Fantasy VII, because those are just things that have been waited for so long, and now they are actually within reach, supposedly. I'm not a total fanboy of either of them myself. Again, like I was telling you, I wasn't really excited about The Last Guardian until I actually saw The Last Guardian. But, I mean, they're just so waited upon, and I think that gave them the title right there. The fact that they're actually happening now.
I'm really hoping Ben picks my number 2 here.
Hey,
Well, I was
real
going to
quick,
pick the...
before you jump in, I've decided I would put Division. I would actually put Division above Fallout. So
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
What do you think of that?
I'm not gonna. The Division was my first, so I'm not gonna say the Division. I think for me, it's between two for second: No Man's Sky and Star Wars Battlefront. I think both of those are those really hit big with me. I think they both look awesome. I wasn't really like I was excited about No Man's Sky, but I wasn't like super excited about it. And then I saw the expansiveness. Like I knew about it, but I didn't know until I saw it. And yeah, that's.
Yeah, the one that I'm like maybe it would overtake the Division for me is Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so fun, looks so good, it looks so different, like the post-apocalyptic, which we talked about at length. So, all right, well we're gonna get out of here.
It's been like 4 hours.
We've been doing this for 2 hours, right?
2 hours and 19 minutes.
But
and if Mr. Fanboy Accusationer is still in the room here, we spent 20 minutes on Xbox and 30 on PlayStation. So. In case you missed it, yes.
I'm okay with him now because he told me it looked like Will Graham from Hannibal, which got canceled. I'm upset about that.
Could you guys just
John,
harmonize
talk
that
later.
for him real quick?
Oh.
Suck it!
That was terrible.
That was
all right,
awful.
It's
I
one
didn't know
jingle
what
we
were
had.
doing.
We
Someone
haven't had
needed to go,
practice.
suck it.
Suck
Someone needed
it!
that.
All
But
right,
anyway,
one.
so we're gonna end the audio portion of this. We're going to stick around for the after party lounge, but we're going to go around right now. We're going to give our information out, and we're going to start with you, Ben.
I am Hubomb Trady, all one word on PlayStation. You can find me Hubomb Trady, 3 words on Xbox Live, and Hubomb Trady if I ever stream, 1 word on Twitch.
Seth, you can find me on the PlayStation Network at Buttzors. That's BUTTZORZ, Buttzors. Or on Xbox Live at Dongzors, DONGZORZ, Dongzors. I've kind of got a monopoly on the whole lower body thing.
Yeah.
Every week.
Going on every week.
Love it.
I'm on Twitch and Twitter at Lair Hunts Zombies, LARHUNTS Zombies. Yeah. What is that? It?
John
Got
Stamos.
anything?
That's fine. That's fine by me.
It's good. It's
And
good.
if you're on Twitch, you can find all this underneath. I am Luke Croft. You can find me on PSN at Lodger Blackman. You can find me on the Xbox Live at Download a Hoagie. And I stream right here on Player 3 Podcast, twitch.tv/Player 3 Podcast. That's who we are. We get together every Monday. We talk about video games, push it out on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. You can find us on youtube.com/Player 3 Podcast, or just hit that follow button right here on twitch.tv/Player 3 Podcast. If you want to leave us a tip, if you have a question that you want to be a random question of the week or a 3-topic Thursday, you can leave us a $5 tip. There's also instructions about if you want to be a friend of the show. We'll drop your links in. I still need to do that for Zephyr. But that's all at our tip jar, which you can find at twitch.tv/Player 3 Podcast as well. But we are the Player 3 Podcast. We're going to do the after party show, but that's it for the audio portion of this podcast.
Player 3 Podcast!
P3P.
All right, first off, Empty Vials, you're absolutely right. That game looks so boring.
All right, I'm gonna mod you, Empty Vials, since we got some people in the chat. Welcome them to.
Hello and welcome to the Player 3 Podcast After Party Lounge, where Buttbox will always and continues to be a currency.
We are part of you as you are part of us.
We want to be in you and around you.
We are every preposition you can think of.
We almost are you.
Prepositional phrases.
All right, so basically what this is we interact. We don't get a ton of time, especially when Diz isn't here, to interact with the chat, and we see you guys chatting, and every now and then we try to give it a look. But this is our opportunity to talk about what you guys want to talk about from E3 or just recent gaming news. Let's talk about Batman for a second. Batman Arkham Knight released. Empty Vials brought this up. I just modded him, so we're gonna talk about it, about their the piss poor performance on PC to the extent that they have been pulled from the Steam store. They're being pulled from retailers, and gamers are being refunded for how bad it is. Like even on high end PCs, it's not even running.
That is shocking from this series.
Yeah, Rocksteady is normally pretty rock steady.
But most people are saying that it's great on the consoles, right?
Yeah, it runs fine on the consoles. But yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like if you put out crap, it deserves to be taken off of these things. And a lot of people thought they were being taken off of Steam just so they could avoid bad reviews, but that hasn't helped at all.
When I put out crap, everyone demands that it's flushed, and this is no different.
So hopefully they can get that ironed out. We do have a guy who says he's developing a game. Can you drop the description of your game in the chat again when you get a chance? We'll get to that in a second. Regulator 52 wants to know, what is your biggest letdown of E3?
You said yours was Halo, wasn't it?
Yeah. It just wasn't as big as I thought it would be, and maybe it's been overhyped for me, but that was disappointing.
And your judgment is also clouded somewhat by the lack of split screen. So you're not just taking Halo's E3 presence, although it was underwhelming to me as well.
No, I'm trying to just take their presence, but I'm admitting that it may be tainted. I'm not sure. Because if you don't know, my wife and I have played every Halo campaign together since the first one. Well, I mean, we had to go back and play the first one. Since the second one, though. And now we can't do that, and 343 can suck it.
Suck it!
Oh, I'm
No
sorry.
one else was on the ball there.
For me, there was a couple games for Sony that I was excited to see more of that we didn't get to see. One was Wild. The game about like prehistoric people, and then the Rhyme game, the one that looks a lot like Zelda. And obviously they're saving stuff for Paris Game Show, for PSX. They're not going to be at Gamescom. Like, they're saving stuff for down the road. But I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see some stuff that they showed last year at Gamescom that I was excited about.
I wasn't really disappointed by anything. I mean, I thought it was a great show all around, one of the best ones in years. There was just a lot of content, even if it wasn't a lot of content.
Right. Because
they can't show everything. I mean, it's a business. They're not gonna, like, when I'm watching a movie trailer, I don't want to see the whole plot of the movie laid out there in 2 minutes. I feel like the same way about games. I just want a little teaser, a little tidbit. I want to see some graphics and a little bit of action here and there. But I was pleased all the way around, just about.
Ben?
I think I don't know. It's not really. You can't consider it a game. I guess it's not. The question's not game. It's just the biggest letdown.
Yeah.
Probably Project Morpheus. The fact that there wasn't
the lack of information.
lack of information from it. Because even though I'm not really that pumped about the virtual reality, I'm more pumped about AR. I still would like to see. I mean, I'd still like to see Sony try to compete, and I'm kind of like with you, Larry, where I want to see them help, like make each other better. Iron sharpens iron.
Well,
so.
and I want to see it succeed just because sometimes Sony's going to get to the thing that they pour money into that's impossible to recover from when it flops. And we've already seen several things they've done that to. They pour time, energy, and resources in, and either it'll hurt them financially, or it will hurt them in the sense of they're not going to want to innovate in things outside of just their console. And they're not going to want to enter into virtual reality or whatever the next big thing is going to be, and it's going to set them back. And they're going to have to be playing a game of catch-up again. And so even though I'm not particularly interested in virtual reality to the point of wanting to pour money into it, I'm more interested in augmented reality. I want to see that stuff succeed because I want Sony to have some motivation to put themselves out there on new, innovative things. But to just say, like, hey, there's some games scrolling behind me that you'll be able to play on Morpheus, and then, hey, come see our booth, even though the majority of people experiencing this conference don't have access to the show floor. Just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Come in and be like, this thing's going to be $199, and have people just lose their mind. Like, this is so cheap.
The big thing I think about when I think about Project Morpheus, have you guys seen that, this is a little bit off topic, but have you guys seen that Totino's Pizza commercial where they're playing, they're like shooting at the big robot, and he gets hungry, so he walks over to this like empty space, and he's like wanting to pull the Tostinos out, and they're like playing this virtual reality game on the couch, and it flashes to real life, and then it flashes back to them in the game, and everybody's freaking out because he's just walking out of cover. Have you seen that commercial? Okay. Well, there's this commercial.
Well, the reason is because I just came up with it in my brain, but it's going to be great.
Totino's, that's going to be $1 billion.
No, but it's really like he gets hungry, so he goes to open these things, and he gets disconnected from the world for a second, but he's still in the world, and you can see him doing it. The problem I have with virtual reality is, with that, they have like fake guns that they're holding in real life that are like simulating the guns they would have in the virtual reality world.
Simulating.
Yes. Whatever. And they've
like
got
simulating myself.
they've got
it's very similar.
They got like things wrapped around their knees that simulate the armor that they have on and whatever. The problem with virtual reality is you lose if I'm holding a gun in virtual reality, I lose the touch loses from me. I don't have the. It doesn't like translate well for me to.
In your brain Zors.
My brain Zors, yeah, because my body is telling me I'm not touching this thing.
My mind's telling me yes.
My brain is telling me I'm not touching this thing, but my
body
eyes are saying you are holding this this gun, and I think that's why I'm so I'm so just kind of like over virtual reality, but I still would like to see it worked in a feasible way. Yes, all the Tostinos talk was for a point that is still not clear, probably.
I thought he was going to say, yes, I did make up the Tostinos commercial, but to make a point.
That is still very unclear.
That is still very, very muddled.
All right. S.L. Burnethy. I can't read his name. It's in lime green. Let me read this, and then I'm going to get you to email us some links to your videos, because I want us to be able to talk about this with a little bit more knowledge about what it is, but I know you've waited. He says, I've been working on an RPG called Uniques United, and I mentioned the gist of it earlier in the stream. Gameplay-wise, it's a little like Might and Magic 6, The Mandate of Heaven, but it has a unique story. The main characters each have separate parties because they were scattered across different parts of medieval fantasy world called Gypto. Being raised in a modern society, they must use their wits and adapt to the new culture. The voices of the 6 main characters are going to be based on real people, and I've been developing their personality since 2004, so they will be a major feature in the game. I actually have some gameplay footage. He goes on to talk about that. Made all the sound effects by hand, and the game is now 6 months in the making. I came here to see if you guys had any feedback or advice to give a developer who actually cares about his game and doesn't want to screw it up. I think we can speak to that point, first of all, is what we deem as something that is a quality game. But what we want to do, since you gave the time to come and stop by our stream and give us your ears for a little bit, and you care about what we have to say, send us a link, player3podcast@gmail.com. Send us some of those videos that you have. Let us kind of look at what you got working with here, and because we want to talk about it on the podcast. It sounds like you're passionate about what you're doing, and it sounds like obviously, if you've been working on these characters since 2004, then like this is obviously a passion project for you. And so thanks for the follow. Bacon is the question. I'll get back to you in a second. Bacon is the question. You gave money to ask a question. We were on vacation for a few weeks. We'll get to that on 3 Topic Thursday. But back to you, SL.
Cybernathy.
Is it Cybernathy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't read it at all. Send us the stuff to your videos, and because we want to look at that and kind of support you along the way if what we think you're doing is cool, and because this is our passion. Like, we just like talking about video games, and so for you to come by, support us by watching us, by following us on Twitch, that's really cool to us, so we want to return the favor to you. But anyway, when it comes to quality games, let me drop this in the email real quick. When it comes to quality games, what are you guys looking for?
That's a really broad topic. I mean, I don't know. I like a little bit of everything, just about. And I love story, which it sounds like you're working on. You know, if you've been thinking about these characters since 2004, that's great. If something's driven by story, I'm down 99% of the time. Just depth in general. Like, you want depth to the story, depth to the characters, depth to the play. You know, if something's really well thought out, like we were talking about For Honor, and how the gameplay supposedly is so intricate because the art of swordplay is intricate. Basically, I just want something really streamlined and just something that I can feel how much love and effort is put into it. And I think that's something that's very clear usually when you actually get a game in your hand.
And I mean, kind of building on that, like, for me, I like all kinds of genres of games. So it's not so much what the game is as what I get a feeling from it. Like, if I play, and I'll explain that, if I play like a mobile game, or I play like a game on a console where I can see a lot of micro charges within it, or microtransactions, things that I can tell that the game was made just to make money. Now, I understand, like, you're trying to make money through it, but there's no passion behind that. I don't think. Like,
well,
I get one. I mean, it's passion to want to make money, but like, but I want to see, like, you love doing what you're doing to put this out to people. And I think it's.
Let me ask, what platform are you looking to develop this on? Is this PC? Are you looking to get on consoles, or is it a mobile game? I don't.
That reminds me of what you were talking about, Ben, about Evolve and how everyone just flipped the S word out about the microtransactions in there, how you could buy skins and things like that. But nothing about that had anything to do with really gameplay. I think microtransactions are fine before the point that it becomes pay to win.
Right, and that's what I'm trying. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. Is like I understand that cosmetic stuff's okay, but when you say I can't get past this because it's a paywall in the way, and I have to pay a certain amount of money to be able to do this thing, then that's when I have a little bit of an issue with it, and I feel like it's just money grabbing and not passion for video games.
On the other hand, sometimes developers probably have a large part to do with that as well.
Yeah.
The biggest example. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, not developer, but
Publishers.
Publishers, yeah.
Yeah.
My thing would be, you don't necessarily have to do what other people are doing. Don't like spread yourself thin and try to include every little thing in your game. But my thing always comes back to if you're upfront about what the game is and you don't embellish things and I don't get my expectations up, then I'm not going to be disappointed in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more likely to enjoy your game if you're just honest about what your game consists of. And I think that's something that's been very lacking in the last couple of years with everyone just building their hype trains.
And
well, he says it's going to be PC at first because I'm developing this by myself, at least until I have enough funding to take on more people. Okay, yeah, I was curious how you were funding it. That was going to be another question of mine, like if this was a Kickstarter, if you have people investing in it for you, or are you self-publishing, or are you going through a publisher? You know, those sorts of things. For me, when it comes to a good game, I'm not the best person to speak about RPGs because it's not really my genre of choice. But if you give me characters to care about, and if you have taken 11 years to develop characters, then they're hopefully going to be deep and characters I can learn about and explore. Like, the reason I keep going back to The Witcher is because I care about Geralt, and I want to see what happens to Geralt. And so having characters that make me want to come back and see what's going to happen next is really important to me. He said he quit his job to work on this game. He's working on it independently. That's really cool, man. Props to you for taking a leap of faith and doing what you're passionate about. But for me, if you're taking the care with the characters and the story, and then giving me options of how to play it, with an RPG, it's about classes of people to play as and differentiating the classes enough that it gives replay value of how to go back to those things, then I'm all for it. And then just really taking your time with testing it and getting other people to have their hands on it and figure out what works and what doesn't work, and taking that feedback and taking it seriously, and really just having a care for the people who are going to be spending their money on the game. And back to what you were talking about, and I'm not trying to argue with you about it, but like I don't want us to kind of set up this dichotomy. Like, they're not making money and being passionate are not mutually exclusive things. And so, like, especially if you quit your job to do this thing,
you better make some money.
Yeah, but just make sure that what you're charging for is worth paying for, in terms of content and in terms of the care that you've put into it. So, anyway,
it's about time for dinner, isn't it?
I believe it is. Let's see. Ironically, the job I had was at the same company that owns the engine I'm developing this game on. That's pretty awesome. We got your email. We'll look. I'll forward this to all the guys, and we'll look into it more. And if you show up next week on Monday, we'll talk about it more on. We'll definitely talk about it in the after show, depending on what we see and know about it. We'll talk about.
Is that a diaper?
She just threw a dirty diaper on.
Is that full of poop?
I don't care. It didn't touch me.
Is that full of poop?
All right.
Oh my gosh! All right, but yeah, we'll talk about it at least in the after party lounge.
Did it touch my phone?
So, all right, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that follow button.
Thanks, guys.
And all that sort of stuff. You guys are great. Goodbye.
But it's not just...
by the way, you want to go up there real quick?
Oh, sure.
Get that?
Oh, yeah.
Seth's telephone number is 276